And we're live.
We are live.
Go. Yeah, that's awesome. So for everybody that was waiting, we're just figuring things out. Of course, it's technology these days. We figured it out and now we are live and it is going to be a fun night tonight. So thank you so much for joining us. I got Clyde do something today. This is going to be great.
I'm excited. Mark, I'm excited. We haven't done a lot of stuff together and I love hanging with you. I've hung out with you in person, and now we're doing it on the internet.
Yeah, actually, so you had me on your show a few times, and to be honest with you, Clyde, when I first started on YouTube, I wasn't even on YouTube when I came on your show. Actually, I was just on TikTok, Instagram, and a few other things.
That's right.
And then I joined the YouTube clan, and now I'm inviting you onto my show. How about that?
I love it. I love it. It's awesome.
So today we're going to have lots of opportunities to answer questions. I got a bunch of things to review we're doing a weekly recap. We got lots of news from today and lots of things to discuss today. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Leave your questions and we'll try to get to them. But should we just start right off or what?
I suppose we should. I was just want to make it sure that we're live streaming to my channel as well. Yes. We're out there. Canada probably won't survive. This is the title for everybody. Yeah, that's parody. We just do this stuff as YouTubers. It's hilarious. But yeah, let's get right into it.
All right. Okay, I'm going to make it so that I think we're good. Okay. All right. So by the way, Clyde has no idea what I'm going to be bringing forward. So he's going to be fresh here. He's just going to be, okay, I guess we're going to be talking about this right now, but that's how I do it. I bring the clips, the data, and then we're going to discuss it. So let's start off with Marc Carney. Okay. And obviously this is the big news today, and we're going to dissect this thing for everybody. So let's share this here. All right. So we got this from Marc Carney this morning at 9:14 a.m. Pacific time. Good news, Canada. More international investment means more of our businesses can scale up faster, creating high-paying career opportunities in Canada. Foreign investment surges to Canada's strongest level since 2007. And when you look at it, 2025 net investment into Canada exceeds net outflow by 17.4 billion. The surplus shows a reversal from 2022. And the reason they say 2022 is because it's been outflow every single year until now. But yeah, you know, these liberals cherry pick data. So what's fun about this is I'm the type of person that I see headlines like this and I go, you know what, let's just dig a little bit further. And I know the conservatives do the same thing. So first, obviously in the House of Commons, this is all they talked about, but let's see a clip now.
Yeah. Where are they getting this data from? Because this doesn't seem right. I'm not feeling the big surge, and I haven't heard much about investors wanting to. Well, I mean, if you're one of Marc Carney's buddies, perhaps.
Yeah. So there was actually some mergers. So that's kind of what's going on right now. It's mergers. But let's just take a look at this.
Marc Carney promised the fastest growing economy in the G7. We have seen on the numbers this morning, GDP is in fact contracting. $4 billion contraction in the last quarter, 0.2%, and we have seen now 2 quarters out of the last 3 where we see a GDP contraction. And not only that, we are in fact the only G7 country that is seeing a contraction in the economy in the last quarter. We're seeing other peers in the G7 growing, in fact. And when you look at this contraction, what does that mean for Canadians? It means there's no economic growth. There's less opportunities. No, it is no wonder that we see unemployment rising, and we have concentrations among the youth. Opportunities are decreasing for youth. There's hopelessness among youth, and this is also happening in the middle of an affordability crisis. We are seeing food inflation hitting record numbers. We see child poverty also hitting record numbers, where we see 1 in 5 children under the age of 6 living in poverty. And we're not only not improving, we're actually going backwards, because poverty amongst children has increased, has doubled from 2019 to 2023. And in the grand scheme of things, the news of the GDP can be a bit confusing, in that we see some foreign direct investment numbers that came out yesterday, where the headline is, well, we're actually receiving more foreign direct investment. But when you, in fact, look further, you will note that in the last 3 quarters, since the Prime Minister took over, we see a foreign direct investment outflow. So we are losing foreign direct investment. And the investment that is, in fact, coming into the country, it's in the form of mergers and acquisitions, which means we have foreign companies coming into Canada, taking over Canadian companies, and the predominantly coming from the U.S. And I saw this myself when I was in London.
There it is. So that's what I was trying to say. So this actually, having more foreign investment, we're getting taken over. They're coming in with their cash and they're buying Canada, Americans, because they could buy Canada at what, 73 cents to the dollar. So they're buying.
If that really, I mean, so, 73 cents to the dollar would be, if you just took the dollar amount. But if you're looking at companies that are going under because they're in liquidation, they're buying stuff on like pennies on the dollar. At that point, like it really comes down to that. If there's acquisitions of companies because they can no longer survive in the environment that's currently happening, what are they doing? This is what I'm curious the most about. Is this kind of like what Mitt Romney was famous for doing as a venture capitalist himself, where he would acquire businesses only to liquidate the assets and then put them on auction, fire everybody from their jobs, and then actually just sell everything? That could be the case. I'm not sure.
But isn't it wild that the Liberals, they cling on like, this is the most positive news we've seen. They cling on it. But this is after we find out that that children in this country are going starving. And it's not a small amount. And the headline says that it will take 400 years to get child poverty under control in Canada. And when you see 400 years, that means never. It's never coming back.
Yeah, that's not, nobody projects out to 400 years when it comes to finances, man. I mean, you've been in the finance world forever. I don't know anyone who's
right now
projecting that far.
So
yeah. Nobody's saying 400 years in the future that the economy is going to be like this. That just means never. That means that the foreseeable never is when Canada comes out of poverty. Child poverty, I don't know why they're focusing on child poverty. I mean, it's just poverty writ large. I mean, child poverty just means that the parents are so poor that they can't feed their children. That's really what that is. I mean, it's just Canada's poor, period.
Yeah, so child poverty is on the rise, and it could take 400 years to reverse it. This is the headline. 30,000 children are falling into poverty. And I'm going to show some clips from the House of Commons today.
I want to calculate that 400 year thing. Like, that's just absurd.
Well,
that got
because
me
they don't want to say
curious.
that it's over. Like, they don't want to come out and say, they want to give at least 400 years, but in reality,
I mean, think about it. Like 350 years ago, the United States of America was founded. Like, that was forever ago. Would anyone make a prediction like 350 years ago at what America's economy would be like? Why are they saying that child poverty is, in 400 years, we'll turn it around. Don't worry about it. It's just going to take that long. What the hell?
The media's out of control in Canada. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Did you see the headline about the State of the Union?
Which headline? I mean,
They're
so
all
many
over
of them.
mainstream media in Canada. I think it was Toronto Star. They said they talked to, I'm going to pull it up right now, but if you haven't seen it, we're going to have to take a look at what mainstream
because there was the
media-
Globe and Mail one about the hockey monkeys. That was the one.
Oh, we'll take a look at that one. Globe and
Yeah. I mean, they've turned into a real rag. That's just unbelievable. Toronto Star, they haven't got the best reputation. Let's just be honest. I mean, remember the COVID era, they had that front page thing that was just scathing about anyone who didn't take the poke. And yeah, I mean, they'll never live that down. Okay,
Here
the
it
Globe
is.
and Mail's the one. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one.
State of the Union was a zoo, and Team USA, the monkeys. This is headline news in Canada. It's gone so out of control. So the kids, we're not going to be able to solve this kid thing for 400 years. And the State of the Union was a zoo, and the U.S. team's monkeys. I don't know if you saw, but mainstream media is turning on Austin Matthews.
He's the Toronto Star
Captain.
player. Yeah, he's the captain, right?
He sold out Canada. We need to get rid of him. Like the news headlines, because he went to the State of the Union, they're like, now we got to get rid of him. Like
Trade him.
TBS is out
Trade
of
him then.
control. No,
Trade
but it's
No, trade him then. I mean, he's the star player. Trade him.
started.
You'll get nothing for it, and you're just gonna lose out. I mean, as if Canadian teams don't struggle enough to win in the National Hockey League. It's called the National Hockey League. It's international for any Canadians, really. Canada has what, 6 teams in the entire league? You want to put your money where your mouth is? Ban Canadian players from playing on American teams, or ban Canadian teams from playing in the NHL. Make your own hockey league. I mean,
Donald Trump threatened that. I don't know if he said, he's like, you're going to lose your hockey.
He said the Chinese would get rid of hockey. And yeah, I don't know what he was going on about on that one. That one was kind of weird.
He knows that, it's so easy to create fear because of mainstream media in Canada pick up everything that Donald Trump says and then, comes up with ridiculous things. Talking about mainstream media, I got Jamal Javani. I don't know if you saw what he did. I
was a fan. I don't know what he did recently, but I'm a fan of his stepping out from the ranks. I think he did this unilaterally, but went down to Washington to discuss Canada trade with American top leaders because he just happened to have the ear of his college buddy, JD Vance, and he was able to go in and meet the administration. I don't know.
Yeah, so I have a theory on this. I shared it on my channel.
Okay, I'd love to hear it.
I believe that he went there to plant the seed to get the conservatives to get in with Trump, because the reason that the Liberals won the election is only because of Donald Trump. Before Donald Trump, it was
I'm
like
gonna disagree
a
with you on that one.
Well, no, if you look at the polling numbers.
Okay. All right. So because they used him as a boogeyman, or because Donald Trump endorsed the Liberals? Because I hear that one a lot.
They used Donald Trump as the boogeyman.
Okay, you're right on
saying that.
Absolutely.
You know what? Donald Trump's going to take us over. And, they created all this fear campaign. And then you saw the Liberals go from the worst polling numbers in Liberal history, below 20%. It was going to be a super duper majority conservatives. Then Donald Trump starts doing this campaign of fear. Elbows Up showed up all of a sudden. A guy that hasn't lived in Canada in a decade. He's not patriotic. He never wears a Canada pin on his shirt. Never, ever. It's that white globalist Order of Canada pin. And and basically, that's what changed it. So what I'm trying to say is, if Donald Trump, and Donald Trump doesn't know Pierre Poilievre, he's like, who is this guy? I don't care about him. I could control a liberal. Liberals are easy to deal with. And then so what happens
So I think there was a little bit more knowledge. I mean, like, I think Donald Trump had a little bit more intel on what was going on in Canada. So we saw that famous interview with Laura Ingraham, where she just keeps interrupting Trump. I just can't, I don't know why anyone would go to an interview with a person that just doesn't shut up, but she keeps interrupting him, and he's trying to spit it out that he, the conservative in Canada doesn't like him. And he's saying, yeah, well, he's stupidly no friend of mine. Now, what was happening behind the scenes at that time? Donald Trump Jr. was called up, and he was visiting Canada. He got in touch with the campaign of Pierre Poilievre, said, hey, we're in town. Would any of you guys like to meet up? And they're like, no, hell no. You guys are toxic. We can't be anywhere near you. Insulting the whole family.
That was a big mistake. Well, I think
huge mistake.
I think with Pierre's new campaign manager, I think that he's starting to come around. That's my thought. I mean, I could be wrong. And I think at
the end of the day, if it's just your campaign manager that comes up with this strategy and then you're just going along with it, where are your principles? Like the whole idea of voting.
I agree with you. I mean, the thing is that
right?
My biggest criticism of Pierre is that he's scared. You know, you can't be scared.
No, we need a bull. We don't need a swan.
People change, though. They go, you know what? I want this. And if you want it, then you have to come out. And what I saw yesterday for his speech, I think there was a new Pierre that it revitalized me. It's like, wow, I saw something from him that I've been wanting from him for a year, coming out coming out with solutions, stating that, you know, what's real, what's the reality is we need the United States. It's going to take a decade to diversify. For the last decade, we've been punishing our natural resources and development across Canada. We put ourselves in the worst possible position. So we're going to have to work with the United States right now, and also work with other countries to, you know, he even said we have 50 plus free trade agreements with the middle powers. I don't know what Marc Carney's talking about. Join forces with the middle powers. We already have that.
Yeah.
So,
oh, absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, so is he gonna eat crow and own up to the fact that he had it wrong?
I hope so. I think that we saw something, right? And so we're going to actually talk about Pierre Poilievre because there was an announcement today, which was huge. So yesterday he did that most beautiful speech I've ever seen him do in his career. And then today we got new news from Pierre, and we're going to get into it in this segment. So we're going to take a look at that. And
before we do, let's get onto the Giovanni thing, because you were talking.
I got
about
Giovanni right here. It's ready.
Yeah. Let's get onto that. Yeah.
So Giovanni caused a lot of the left to absolutely lose their minds, and
it was great.
I'm not going to. Well, this just happened. So I don't know. Yeah, a new thing that just made the left lose their minds. I'm not going to tell you why they lost their minds. You're going to have to watch this and tell me why they're losing their minds.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
Okay. Let's go.
What more could we be doing for our own people? And it is my belief that is what all politicians should do. It is my belief that's what the media should do also. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So let's take a practical example. The government of Canada announced they were going to accelerate $8 million in addition to other supports to the government of Cuba as a response to Cuba's so-called crisis of what's going on right now. And I say so-called because it's a communist government. I don't know what to believe in what they say is going on over there. Forgive me, I don't trust communists that much, you know?
I like them already.
So they say, the government of Canada does, the Marc Carney government, his foreign affairs minister, Anita Anand, that they're going to accelerate $8 million in aid to Cuba. Now, while they're doing that, there are a lot of things I could think of $8 million being able to do for the Canadian people.
Absolutely.
And yet the way this is framed so that you don't think about it as a choice between money exiting our borders versus money being used to the benefit of Canadian workers and businesses, is the media has framed this as a response to the United States. And I want to share with you some of the news headlines so you understand what I mean.
Check these news
from
headlines.
CTV. As the United States squeezes Cuba, Canada readies aid package. Global News. Cuba's ambassador says the United States is suffocating people. Associated Press. Canada prepares aid package for Cuba as it faces fuel shortages worsened by U.S. oil embargo. So the
Since the
media has framed
1960s,
this
like what?
decision by the Carney government as if it is a rebellion or a resistance act, a protest to the U.S. government. But I would say this is actually something that we should be comparing to what we could be doing with that money at home.
All right. So what do you think? What do you think is happening with the left and liberals based on what you just saw?
That was pretty benign. I mean, he was just calling out the media for doing what the media does. I mean, the media, I mean, that is what Canada was doing. Is it not what Canada was doing? The United States has had a trade embargo with Cuba since the 1960s. I mean, my dad was in the Air Force, the U.S. Air Force, when the Cuban Missile Crisis was happening. I mean, we remember this collectively as a family. We know about this stuff, and Cuba has been a big problem, and it's been propped up by, you guessed it, communist governments for a very, very long time. And it's the only reason why they've ever been able to stay afloat as a communist dictatorship is through the aid of communist governments. Now, they've lost a lot of that aid. They lost the aid from China. China can't get to them to give them aid. Venezuela is no longer on the board with giving them aid. Russia's got sanctions. They can't bring boats in there. So what? Canada's going to be the communist to come in and give them aid so they can prolong the inevitable, which would be the overthrow of the communist government in Cuba, so to liberate the people so that they can have choice in their lives. It's so backwards. Like Canadians, I've seen it all over Twitter today because Donald Trump was mentioning Cuba, and Canadians, you have all these Canadians saying, leave Cuba alone. They're you're disrupting Cuba. What are you talking about? It's a communist dictatorship. The Cubans want to be free. They know what's up. What do you think? They'll make makeshift rafts and they'll go through shark infested waters to get to Florida just to breathe free. And then they have family back in Cuba that can't escape. This is what's crazy. Listen to Marco Rubio and what he talks about. He's from the family of Cuban refugees, from people who left Cuba because of the Castro regime.
So
it's all about that.
So what the liberals and the left are saying, how dare you not want to provide food to children in Cuba?
Oh,
that's what they're saying. And they're losing their minds. But get this. What about the 30,000 children that we just talked about? 400 years.
400 years into the future. Yeah.
What about those children?
That's
what about those children? And that's what Jamal Giovanni's saying. He's saying, why can't we take care of our people? We're not taking care of our people. That's just the argument. But they're turning it and spinning it as, how dare you, these children? So
think about, they're clutching pearls. They're clutching pearls that don't even exist. What are you talking about? You know what aid to okay, this is what foreign aid is. Foreign aid is taking money from poor people in rich countries and giving it to poor dictators in poor countries. You're not giving it to the people. You're not going to feed any babies and kids. If you give $8 million to Cuba, you know what it's going to turn into? It's going to turn into money going to some of the top guys to try to get off the island before something big and bad happens. That's what's going to happen. They're just going to put it in suitcases and it's going to leave the island.
Well, it's just interesting that they're always so quick to help out the the dictators and communists. It's just it makes
communists especially. It's it makes sense when you really look at the grand scheme of things. They want to keep communism alive, don't they?
So check this chart out. So we had Justin Trudeau. He said there's no business case for LNG. None. Zero business case for it. Then the United States, they started in building stuff in 2014. Then in 2015, they've exploded in their exports, and Canada's just sitting there going, what happened? What happened? We shipped out our first shipment just like last month, but we have nothing. So we've been left in the dark again. So this is just another example of liberal incompetence.
Is it incompetence though, or is it the planned decline of the West? I mean, did you hear Marco Rubio's speech when he spoke to the United Nations?
That was a very good speech.
well put together speech where he discusses this idea that since the 1970s, the Davos types, along with China, have been working on the planned decline of the West, of the Western civilization, in order to prop up some new world order that will involve, what is it, middle powers in China. This is Carney's plan. He's of course along the same ilk as the World Economic Forum and Kissinger and Xi Jinping currently at this moment. But yeah, this is the plan that they want. They want to facilitate the decline of Western civilization. And this is what's so interesting about the times we live in. Donald Trump came in and he upset that whole thing. He lit a fire under people who just want liberty and the fruits of that liberty. The fruits of being left alone to do what it is that you do with your time always results in people becoming much more productive. And productivity turns into GDP of a nation, and productivity turns into superpowers. This is what we found. This is what we found in history. If the American people are left to do what they want to do, if the Canadian people were left to do what they want to do, unfortunately, we just can't convince Canadians to want to be free. I mean, Lord help me, I've been trying, but it's once they want to be free and they do that, productivity goes through the roof. And this is what the management of decline has been. It's been slowly whittling people's desire to be free away so that they'll be happy to be serfs moving forward. That's not the plan. That's not I think Donald Trump really upset that.
Oh yeah. Did you see this, Clyde?
What is this?
Australia LNG shipment sent to Eastern Canada for the very first time.
Shut up.
I'm
That's
not joking.
the ship. The
I'm
ships
not
are sending
joking.
it because they can't get it across Canada because there's no pipeline.
No, because so what's happening is China usually buys the LNG from Australia, but China's like, I believe it's like $2 or $3 per metric, whatever they sell it for.
Per unit. Yeah.
Per unit. And the world market's $10. So they're like, well, we're selling it to China for $3. They're flooded with LNG right now. So Canada stepped up and said, oh, we'll buy it.
But
the thing
nuts.
it's just insane because if you actually, so I wrote something. So I wrote a tweet today, and you probably, I don't know if it's big enough for
you
people.
read a lot of those.
So LNG sailed 25,000 kilometers from Australia to Eastern Canada for 174,000 metric LNG, cubic feet of LNG, which is 78,000 tons. The cargo I calculated was worth $40 million cargo, but I also calculated it would be $5 million worth of bunker fuel that they would have to burn.
Yeah,
15,000 tons of CO2 burned to get it here to Canada.
That's just bringing it there. Did you calculate the return cost?
That's just bringing it here. And that's
they still got to get home.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 3,300 cars worth of emissions for the whole year. That's how much that is. While we're sitting on some of the third largest natural gas reserves on the planet, we don't have a lack of gas. What we have is a lack of pipelines. But instead of moving Western Canadian energy, and I heard there's lots of LNG in Quebec and on the East Coast. They could have their own, LNG there, but we could also bring it from the West. So let that sink in. So we tax Canadians in the name of carbon reduction. Then we ship LNG across the ocean. That's the furthest country on planet Earth from Canada. This is not environmental.
From the East Coast, yeah, absolutely.
So we're taxing ourselves, saying we're going to be the most environmentally, we're going full tilt. We don't care what the US is doing, but then we do silly things like this. And here's my picture that I created just to show how insane this is.
It's the black smoke coming out.
Yeah, it's unreal.
It's nutty. It's nutty. It really is. There's so many things that we could do so much more efficiently. I mean, let's just be honest. Like, why are people in Canada making milk? Like it just shouldn't be happening. Like it's funny because like, you know, dairy lobby's been coming up quite a bit, and I speak out against it, and people attack me, you know, that are supporters of dairy lobby. It's an environmental problem. It's just that Canada, they'll even say it. Well, we need help in the dairy industry because we have such crappy conditions for making milk in Canada. Then maybe you should be making something else.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that don't make sense in Canada.
Well, let me tell you a little economic story. And I think you'll appreciate this, right? So, and this is about just economic ridiculousness that has happened over the years. So, a number of years ago, let's say like late 1800s, there was a bunch of people who wanted to make a go at sugarcane farming in like the southern parts of the United States, like Louisiana, Florida area. And they're like, yeah, we want to make a go at sugarcane farming. And they had a go, and they were pretty good at it. And so they're able to supply the market. But then world trade started taking place, and more trade started happening because roads started getting built and facilitated all kinds of stuff. More boats were coming in, and we got lots of sugarcane coming in from Central America and Central and South America. So it's all coming in through the Gulf, and all these sugarcane farmers are like, oh, we're getting bid out of the market. Now that should have been a signal for them. Maybe get into a different crop, you know what I mean? Because the sugarcane's coming flowing in. It grows like weeds where they're from, and they just chop it. That's it. And no, they didn't do that. They went to the government and they said, hey, government, we need protectionism. We need some protectionism. So we want you to put tariffs on sugarcane. So they put tariffs on sugarcane. And they went through all the proper methods to put permanent tariffs on sugarcane so that they could still make a go at it. Well, they went out of business anyway. So everyone pays these sugarcane tariffs. And then what happens later is some company figures out, because the market gets flooded with corn, because they decided to subsidize corn for the purpose of making fuel out of corn, because somebody said gasoline's going to run out one day, because we all believe that you remember the bell curve and the peak oil thing that they talked about way back in the day. Well, that never happened, but we started growing corn for fuel and subsidizing it. So what do you get when you subsidize something? A whole lot of it. And they got a lot of corn on the market. Some clever chemist was like, hey, you know, we can make sugar out of this corn. It's called fructose. And here you go. So everyone started using that in their products. And for a long time, you know, Coca-Cola, all these soda companies, they switched over, get fructose in, because one thing, sugar is too expensive because there's tariffs on it, because they're coming from South America, and it like all these things exacerbate, right? So next thing you know, this cheaply made soda out of fructose is making everybody sick, and everybody's getting fat and diabetes and all this stuff. So what do they do?
It doesn't even taste good. It doesn't even taste good. I mean, the Coke from Mexico is amazing.
Much better.
Didn't Donald Trump say that Coke's gonna have cane sugar now?
Oh, that would be amazing if he undid all the damage.
Executive order just to do that.
Well, get this. So in New York, a number of years ago, Bloomberg's the mayor of New York, and he says, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put a tax on soda. So not only you're paying a tax as the sugarcane comes in, so nobody uses sugarcane, then you're subsidizing through tax money to make corn so that people can get their fructose, and then their soda's super cheap, and then you tax it to make it expensive again, so people are deterred from drinking too much of it and become diabetic. Like, this is the idiocy. This is the idiocy of poor economic policy. And that's the thing. If you're gonna put something in place, you got to put it in place for good reasons. And that's exactly what we've got. Too much of that. I love what Trump's doing. I know people are gonna say, but you don't like tariffs. Trump's doing tariffs. Different story. We can get into that if you'd like, but the idea here is that Trump's undoing a lot of crappy decisions that were made a long time ago.
He's deregulating. He's deregulating.
That's right. That's
which is what Canada needs to do as well. So I got another. I don't know if you saw Ken Sims, which is the mayor of Vancouver. Did you see this today?
I didn't see it today, but I heard he's being criticized because he lied about somebody.
So this is the backstory. So after Ken Sims made unsubstantiated claims that City Councillor Sean Orr was distributing street candy in the downtown East Side. so he claimed that this City Councillor Sean Orr was distributing street candy downtown. I mean, that just sounds pretty absurd. He had no proof. He just kind of, I think he said it. So this is what happened.
So here's what he said, because I heard the actual quote, because they pulled it up on CBC. I have the unfortunate thing of CBC being on in my car. I do it on purpose just to keep my mind racing. But when I'm coming home from work, I put it on the CBC and I heard this and they played the quote. It was from some Chinese media, but it was in English.
Yes.
And he said the guy was distributing illegal drugs. He was handing out illegal drugs, is what he said.
Candy, street candy.
Street candy, cough drops or whatever.
Cough drops. Yeah, so I mean, it's so absurd that but the thing is, the most absurd part is he thought that he wouldn't get caught because he was saying it, he wasn't saying it in English. That's the thing.
No, he said it in English. He did say it in English.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, I heard the recording.
Okay, so I want people, we're gonna watch this. I want people to count how many times he says that he apologized. Check this out.
I spoke with Councillor Orr yesterday, and I apologize for my comments.
What evidence do you have to make those claims?
You know, I called Sean or Councillor Orr yesterday, and I did apologize for my comments. So,
his answers are that.
Like I said, you know, I called Councillor Orr, and I did apologize for those comments.
Don't you believe it's irresponsible, though, as a leader to say those comments without actually fact-checking them?
Yeah, as a leader, I called Sean Orr or Councillor Orr.
Are you kidding me right now? What is that for?
That's fun.
At the end of the day, I called Councillor Orr, and I did apologize for my comments.
Are you going to repeat the same thing over and over again?
You know what? I truly believe that I apologize. Look, I called Councillor Orr, and I apologize.
This is insane. That's 6.
7.
Well, I'm speaking to everyone right now. I'm letting everyone know that I did call Councillor Orr.
That's 8.
That's 8.
Personally for my comments.
And are you satisfied that he accepted the apology, or what was your read on it when you said that to him?
You know, that's a question you're going to have to ask Councillor Orr, but I did reach out to Councillor Orr.
That's 9, man.
And, we had a conversation, and I apologize for my comments.
Why did you target Chinese community when it comes to making such disinformation?
Look, I called Councillor Orr.
That's
and
10.
I apologize for my comments.
But in your comments, you were talking to CBC's Chinese media. We see the microphone of Fairchild, and Councillor Zhou also made this comment specifically in Mandarin.
I don't distinguish between media outlets. Basically, I made a comment, and I apologize for my comments.
That's 11.
You haven't said that to English media. You're saying one thing in Chinese media, then you're saying another thing to English media. So how do you reconcile that?
Well, I think the media is here today. And I'm telling everyone that I spoke with Councillor Orr. And I apologize.
12.
You're just apologizing to Councillor Orr about the Chinese community or the audience that were receiving such information.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I apologize for my comments.
13.
So, everyone
That's
knows
hilarious,
I
man.
apologize to Councillor Orr.
I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Look, I think it's important that I stand by my apology, and so
14.
I apologize to Councillor Orr. I apologize. So I don't,
Wow, that's 15.
Yeah, that's 15.
Councillor Orr and myself, our conversation. I reached out to Councillor Orr, and I apologize for my comments.
16.
Clarify what was the information from? Why did you make
Look,
such?
I basically, made some comments that I apologize personally to Councillor
17.
17 times. Dude, I don't know what's going on.
Your apology?
That's a question for Councillor Orr. We had a personal conversation, at which time I apologize for my comments.
18.
18.
Happened yesterday. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Wow,
everybody.
18
That's
times.
it. Are you kidding me? I've never seen anything. This is the mayor of Vancouver. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
That's hilarious.
It would be better if he just walked away. But for him to just keep going like this, what's wrong with him?
Yeah, I don't know. It reminds me of some of the congressional hearings that you would hear over the years where they just, there was no wrongdoing, and they'll just keep repeating there was no wrongdoing over and over and over again. And then that's all you get. It's funny because whatever. I think the issue here is that he said something that was actually making an affirmative statement that he committed a crime. And when he said illegal cough drops that he was giving out, that makes it an illegal, because you're not talking about what is it, safe supply or any of those things, because he said illegal. When he says he handed out illegal cough drops, then
well, I thought they reversed it like this. I don't think it's
there's no safe supply anymore.
No, I think it's gone now. Like it just took 3 years, and I can't even take the public transportation with my children. It's so bad. There was a guy that was fuming up with his street candy in the SkyTrain right next to me. I was like, "What's going on here? The city is turning into mayhem." Yeah, it's just out of control.
Yeah, that's nuts. I drive through it every once in a while just to show my kids with the doors locked.
Yeah, well, it's an easy way to say. My son's always like, "What's going on, Dad?" I said, "I just make sure that if somebody offers you street candy, you say no, okay?"
Yeah, wow,
that's what happens.
Take your kids down there to see all the people just like doing the zombie dance, or the lean that they're doing.
I got lots of things for you today, Clyde.
Oh, okay.
So I hope you're ready. We're good.
I might have to get some refills later. It's Friday night, so I'm having some beers.
Perfect.
Well, Friday night we're having fun. You're not a drinker, so I hope a lot of people in the chat are having a beer with me.
All right. So in the House of Commons today, I saw the most outrageous lie and insanity. This guy right here, I don't even know who he is. He's for the Liberals, by the way. He says the kids' lunch program is now responsible for skyrocketing graduation rates. Without the food, no one would graduate high school. Yeah, it's so crazy. What? Okay, ready? Yeah, I know. Just wait. This is what kind of thing that the Liberals are saying. Like, if you don't understand, we're giving kids food. By the way, my kids have never received food from school. Never.
I'll tell you one thing. My wife would never allow my kids to eat the food at any public event thing. Like, it's like, no, we're going to feed our kids. Thanks. We don't trust like you're going to make good decisions on what goes into our kids' bodies, you know? So that's.
But his claim that kids are graduating, all the kids, but you know what's funny? Is that they took away grades in school. So that's why they're all graduating. They're graduating, but they can't read a book. They don't know how to do anything. They come out and they're like, you've graduated, but there's no grades. Like my kids, I get the report card. There's like,
I know.
There's no grades.
I've had them too.
Of course they graduated.
I'm looking forward to getting to Texas just so I know where my kids stand on their education.
Man. Okay, ready? It's short. Only 29 seconds. We're good.
On the side of the house, I was so excited when the child food school program was put forward. You know what? I grew up in a First Nations community amongst the many kids that lived in the poverty line. You know, and I go down to my community center. I watch kids go into our community center. They get a breakfast. They get a lunch. They go to school with full bellies. When I graduated from high school, I was one of very few that graduated from high school. Now we're seeing kids graduate in record numbers in my community. And I have no doubt it's because of the nutritious breakfast and lunches that they get. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the side of the house.
Oh my goodness. Like I said.
You heard it here first, folks. That's it. Natives can't graduate unless they have a full belly.
Without the Liberals food program, nobody is graduating in Canada. This is what we're dealing with here.
Straight up, that doesn't say a lot of good things about the Native community, you know, in Canada. That you know, most of them can't feed themselves. That's a scathing report.
No, but I don't think he was referring to that.
He was saying that there's like tremendous poverty, but then as soon as the government stepped in and gave them meals in the morning, or you know, whatever, some authority came in and gave them meals, then they were able to graduate. Like, no, that's really
Clyde, it's all made up.
Of course, it's made up.
Everything is made up. He just made all of that up because his claims do not make any sense. I'm sorry, but
they don't.
No, because the food lunch program is only a year old.
Oh, I know, but I think he's trying to make the claim that the Native band were the ones that that decided unilaterally. It sounds made up to me.
No, because
it sounds
the
totally
food
made up.
lunch program he was referring to was created a year ago. Right. It just rolled out. How is this? How is everybody graduating all of a sudden? It just rolled out. It's people don't fact check these people. That's the thing. They're like, they just take it as face value.
Have any meals actually been given yet? Like
my kids don't get meals. I have kids in the school system. They don't get any meals. I don't know who's getting. They said 400,000 kids are getting free meals across Canada. I don't know.
My kids don't get free meals. No, it doesn't happen.
No, so I don't know where these free meals are. They're non-existent.
I know, like my kids get what they call it hot lunch, but that's something we pay into.
No, you buy it. Yeah, that's not part of it. That's the hot lunch is not, and that's only what, once a week or something you could pay.
Yeah, it's once a week, lunch. And they'll get pizza or whatever.
Yeah, that's not free.
No, we're paying for it.
No,
I get a bill.
So something's going mega viral across the world right now. It's Jim Carrey. I don't know if you saw Jim Carrey yesterday, but this is. Oh, 1 second. Let me get Jim Carrey here.
Switch windows. There you go.
Is that Jim Carrey?
Yeah. So I saw a clip with this person and I was like, that looks like the lady who does Jim Carrey impersonations on TikTok. But I don't know. I could be wrong. Is that the real Jim Carrey?
That's the thing.
Will the real Jim Carrey please stand up?
But he was acting. I don't know if I have clips from it, but he was acting un-Jim Carrey like. That's what people were saying. And yeah, there's just a lot of talk saying, we could take a look at what Jim Carrey used to look like, but this is Jim Carrey today. What's going on here? I don't know what you guys are thinking in the chat there. What do you guys think about Jim Carrey? What's going on with Jim Carrey? I'm going to take a look at Jim Carrey like just 5 years ago.
Yeah, just a picture of him just recently. But like, there is a woman who is a Jim Carrey impersonator on TikTok or whatever, and looks more like that character.
So let's see this. I got a picture of him, but trying to get a bigger picture. Maybe this one's bigger. Wait, I got a few pictures. It's kind of see if I could get it bigger.
Oh, maybe it's not that lady. I'm looking at that lady.
So this is yesterday. This is Jim Carrey yesterday. I could barely recognize him. It's so that's the picture yesterday. Let's see Jim Carrey.
I think he's just getting old man face. I mean,
is that what it is?
Maybe that's what it is.
So here's Jim Carrey. Well, actually, he does like. This is more recent too. This Jim Carrey, but let's see Jim Carrey just like this is what old Jim Carrey looks like to me. Like this one on the right.
It's just young Jim Carrey with a beard.
But look, he looked like this.
Oh, that's old though. That's a really old photograph.
Or like this.
That's old as well.
This is not too old. Not this one.
It's not.
No, this one's not too old. This one's pretty recent. Then he started looking like this. This one's pretty recent too.
Yeah. So you think that's an impersonator? It's not actually.
No, I don't know.
Some people are saying, do you think thing? It's like off. I'm just Google searching it.
And then this is him now. Yeah, you know what? I don't know what's happening with Jim Carrey.
If you look at the interview, I don't know if you want to share a Facebook link, but like, I'll send you this in Twitter DMs real quick. But this literally looks like an impersonator. Hold on. I don't know. And people are asking, like, is Jim Carrey at the French Film Awards? And it doesn't look like him. People are asking, do you think he sent an impersonator to do a thing?
I don't, I have no idea. All I saw is it's going mega viral all across the internet. A lot of people are saying, what's going on? Is that the real Jim Carrey? Is it an impersonator? Some people are saying that he's just getting old. Some people are saying that he got a bunch of work done on it, like cosmetic surgery, and that's what everybody's doing in Hollywood now because we see all these other celebrities that are looking.
Yeah, it's real unfortunate when people do that. I think, you know, of all of all the things people do, they go and they mess with their face. You know, like I've always said it this way: like you have all these talented surgeons, they all come together from all over the world. They come to one place and they make all the same ugly face. You know, I don't know what it is. Like from Mickey Rourke to you can just name them. They all make that weird like cat lady face, and it's just something that Hollywood
it's like
people
fillers
get
or
into.
something. Yeah, it's just
Especially for Jim Carrey, because like he's got such an animated face. You want all the muscles to be working. Botox, if you know what it is, like it's actually a numbing agent.
well,
It's
it's
a
a
prolonged numbing
neurotoxin or whatever. It paralyzes. It's
It
actually from
paralyzes the
venom
muscles.
from a snake.
Yeah, you don't want
That's
that
what
if
it's
you-
from. It's venom. It just paralyzes the muscles. You know, in
Especially
life,
Jim Carrey, who made all his money from his animated face. You wouldn't want to put that stuff in your face.
well,
Done.
I think he's done, right? I don't think he's doing anything anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well, I heard he got into some weird stuff. Let's
All
just
right.
say.
Well, we're gonna move on
yeah,
because I got I
sad-
got lots for us
sad
today.
story. Yeah,
I
let's
got
go.
lots for us. Okay. So our boy Matt Genereux, you know what he
Your
just
boy, your boy, not
My
my boy.
boy. did? No, boy, no, he's not my
Well, he's
boy.
not your boy
definitely-
anymore. No, he
No,
switched.
he was never really my boy. I don't, you know, I didn't even know who he was until he decided to. Well, when he said he stepped down, I thought he did the honorable thing, and then he turned out to be a monster, in my opinion. And so basically, what he did when he said he was going to step down is he was going to donate his entire salary to charities. So let's take a look at that. Here's Matt Genereux saying, Matt Genereux to donate salary to local charities.
Yep.
November 7th. He says that since being elected, I've always taken proactive steps to donate every mandated pay raise to charities in Edmonton. This year, since I announced my resignation, I'll continue this effort and I will be donating my salary I received since November 6th, the day I announced the decision, to a number of charities and communities. Although I made my decision to resign, my community to supporting local charities in Edmonton that are tirelessly working to assist those in need remain unwavering. Many of these charities have been doing incredible work under exceptional circumstances. I'm not going to read the rest, but get this. Today, he removed this from his website. It doesn't exist anymore. He removed. So did he donate to the charity that really needed his pay? Because he hasn't worked since November 6th. When he crossed the floor the first day of the House of Commons, he wasn't even there. He just showed up to vote. He voted against the Conservatives, but he didn't show up in the House of Commons. And now he's touring the world with Marc Carney. He's in Australia. And, you know, Marc Carney's flight around the world for 4 days when he went to see the Pope or whatever was $100,000 worth of food and drinks and whatever they have on that plan. It was $100,000 for a 3 or 4 day trip. How much? I think it's going to be 4 times more expensive because now he's got Matt Genereux and he's going to have a wonderful flight with Marc Carney all the way around the planet.
Yeah, I mean, he did it for a cozy position. The guy doesn't have. He doesn't care about the people. He'll say whatever he's got to say. I'm sure he didn't donate any of that stuff. He's got a cozy position now with the Liberals, which he got in the most anti-democratic fashion.
So this is his website now. He took it down. He took his donation. So he didn't work for 3 months. He promised to donate his entire salary, and now he has removed it from his site. I don't know. I mean, that just shows his character.
Well, let's just say what the rules are. The rules are in Canada. So here's the thing. We hear about this all the time. Democracy. We got to preserve democracy. We got to help democracy and keep democracy going. But how democratic is it when people, let's just be honest, people are not voting for General in his riding. They don't, most of the people that vote don't even know who the heck that guy is, but they're voting for the party. They're voting along party lines. This is what they do. This is why it's so difficult to run as an independent, and everybody knows this. And when you run as an independent, you're often going to split the vote on the side that you're running on that's similar to the party that you're running against, right? So that's why people complain about vote splitting. So if they voted for him because he was on the blue ticket as a conservative, and then he can just switch as he chooses, that's anti-democratic. Why is there no rule in play that if somebody wants to switch, they have to bring up a by-election, and they have to try, if they want to switch, they have to win with the other party. But
80,000 votes were thrown in the garbage. 80,000.
They were thrown in the garbage.
For the
it's not
gone.
hyperbole to say that.
No,
it's absolutely accurate. They're gone. And people who didn't win that election won the day because they got a candidate that they didn't know that they wanted to vote for, but they got anyway.
You know what the most sickening thing about the whole thing? The floor crosses obviously is very sickening, but the most sickening thing is mainstream media, the way that they, instead of looking at it in the angle that we are, saying that this is not democratic, how could they do this and be outraged about what they did to the constituents of this country? Undemocratic. That's a normal way of thinking. Instead of doing that, what they did is saying, well, Pierre's so toxic. It's Pierre's fault. He's not able to contain his MPs. And they're also
vote him out. Vote him out. Do it in a democratic way.
Yeah, I know,
if they don't like him.
They're not also looking at it in a lens where, what is Marc Carney offering? You're the journalist. You're the media. You should be digging into the emails. There should be a police investigation to look at all the emails, all the communication. And then, hey, if it's legit, it's legit. But we want to see all the emails, because for someone to switch in a province that has only 2 seats that are not conservative, and everybody in the province is majority, the majority of the province voted conservative, and you're going to switch to the Liberals? I mean, that's not what the voters want.
Well, it's akin to insider trading, really, at that point. Like you're getting some other benefit that's extra legal that isn't afforded to you based on your electoral win. You know, you're getting a position. You were elected as a member of the official opposition, and you just switch over to becoming a cabinet minister in the government. Get out of town. It's anti-democratic. It's not undemocratic. It's anti-democratic. That's what it is, and it needs to be called out for that.
So I got some new information. I don't know if you saw this, Clyde, but Canada will likely mark 100,000 made 6 feet underground by summertime.
Yep.
We're going to hit a milestone of 100,000 people. And look at the growth from 2019 all the way.
It dwarfs any other country on the planet.
So we have this, and let's take a look at this.
It's striking to me that you're saying that in the current reality, you have people that don't want MAID, aren't looking for MAID, but who people in the system, people in authority, presume should think about MAID, and people in those positions of authority are actually telling them that.
You see that?
Yeah, people are getting convinced to take it as a cost saver to the government. That's what it is. Like what it reminds me of actually is, the communist side of the Berlin Wall. So if you were in communist Germany during the 1970s and 80s, and you got to the ripe age of retirement. You're promised all these things, right? There's all these entitlements that they were promised by the communist government. You know, they were given a choice on the day that they retired. They were offered, you take your retirement and you live in Germany, or we'll escort you to the wall and you can leave. They actually did that.
So I'm very discouraged with, like, I see a place for this thing, but the way that it's gone, it's expanded to, we're hearing stories about people with depression, and then they're able to, depression to me is something that someone could cure.
Mark, it gets even more bad.
Oh, I know. We don't need to go there, but I'm actually going somewhere with this.
Mm-hmm.
There's one province that, you know, I don't live in right now, but I really, like, every day I wake up and I'm like, you know, the common sense is coming from one province. So we got here that the UCP to introduce rules to basically what they want to do is reduce the like it's expanding too much. So they're going to bring it back, roll it back to basically, you know, the people that really need it. So this is brand new breaking news. Let's just see if we could see some of this coverage here.
Want to euthanize our sick, our elderly, our inconvenient, and our mentally ill.
Watch though, QP will. Watch.
QP will.
Just watch.
Yeah. Corey, go
QP
ahead.
trains, QP trains death doulas. Go on, Corey.
No, it's great. I mean, MAID is another area where they've taken something and just gotten right out of control. I might be like, I sort of support the ability for somebody of right mind in a terminal, painful condition to choose a way out with dignity, perhaps. But they've totally lost the case
anymore.
On this one. I had a former lawyer, for people who might remember, back in the 90s with Sue Rodriguez, and she was fighting for the assisted suicide back then. And he said he did not imagine this turning into something where people with mental health issues would choose, death and some of the other areas, depression, diabetes, that wasn't where this was supposed to go. It was supposed to be a very last resort for somebody in terrible condition. And it was supposed to be their choice alone, not having their arm twisted or encouraged into it. It was just an option as last resort. And I think, again, the Smith government is on the right track on standing up for this, because I think people have been pretty horrified with some of the cases they've been hearing about what's been qualifying for this now. That's not what I think anybody imagined.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to show you. So Danielle Smith is going to be rolling out new legislation to basically roll it back because it's gotten out of control, and hopefully, you know, that could be brought to the conservative platform as well, like throughout Canada. I mean, there is a place for it, but it's gotten out of control, and it looks like Danielle Smith is leading the way on just,
all the people that have been offered this service, and I call it a service scathingly, is that, there have been veterans. There was a veteran a few years ago who was injured in her service. And then she went on to become a Paralympian swimmer. So amazingly fit, willed to survive kind of person. And she was waiting for her, one of those, the tram chairs that go up the stairway that you can get. She was waiting for those. Veterans Affairs was going to send her one. And she was just calling to inquire about it. And the person on the phone offered her that in exchange instead of getting the chair. And she filed a complaint about it. There was other people. There was a woman who went into the Vancouver hospital just last year where she went in because she was depressed and she was having those bad feelings that people have when they're depressed about doing bad things. She was offered the service by the people who she went to see to get her treatment for that. It's insane. But there's so many cases of this.
What I have a problem with is that, it's 36 months to get first you have to wait a year for an MRI. Pennsylvania has more MRI machines than all of Canada. They have 19 million people or whatever it is. And they have more MRI than all of Canada.
It's less than 48 hours if you sign up for this MAID service.
So you wait a year to get your MRI. Then you wait to get the specialist 6 months later. Then you have to by the time you actually get the surgery or whatever, it could be 36 months. But then you have this doctor come in and say, hey, you're in pain, I could just solve it tomorrow, you know? It's
Yeah. Well, get this. So because they're allowing it for just, you know, there was someone who was just euthanized recently for seasonal depression. So somebody who's normally fine, but is diagnosed with seasonal depression. So winter blues went through with this service. And they're also talking about what they call mature minors. This is a term, a legal term, mature minors, where children, where a doctor can determine without the parent's consent that this child is mature enough to make their own legal decisions on what they do for healthcare. Now, they were pushing this forward because they were trying to get children to take inoculations, let's just say, outside of their parents' consent. They were pushing this, and now they're going to be eligible for this program. And we all know how mentally unstable teenagers can be. You know what I mean? You could wake up one morning and find out that your daughter, who busted up with her boyfriend in high school, went and had the state euthanize her because she felt sad about it. This is a reality that Canadians just don't see. This slippery slope is going in that direction.
No,
it's no longer a fallacy,
against,
the whole slippery slope thing.
Against the parents. That's the parents.
Without
like,
their knowledge.
No,
Without
I know.
their
That's
knowledge.
the thing. It's and the same thing in BC. They'll give street candy to children against the parents' knowledge as a harm reduction. It's out of control. All right, I got more. Let's move away from this depressing thing. Actually,
okay.
I wish it wasn't so depressing, but the next thing, I mean, it's also depressing, but it's
Okay,
important.
we're gonna go. We'll just smile in between segments.
It's important. All right, so we found out about the Canadian economy today.
One of
and
the
so
most.
we're going to take a look at
The
it.
latest snapshot of Canada's economy shows it slowed in the last quarter. Data from Statistics Canada shows GDP declined 0.6% between October and December. This contraction follows a
Only that
period of
much?
growth in the quarter before. The shrink was largely brought on by businesses selling off goods or materials that weren't reproduced.
Called it.
Adam Chambers is the Conservative Party international trade critic. Welcome to the show. Let's start with your response to what we saw from Canada's fourth quarter data.
Well, look, it's unfortunate. You don't.
Wait 1 second. Before we see the rest, watch how CBC tries to... Just wait till you see what they try to do. Watch this.
I'm not sure it should surprise many people, though it surprised economists. If you spend time in arenas or the grocery store, you know that people are feeling the pinch, both with rising prices, but also an economy that just doesn't feel like it's growing as it should. And that's unfortunate. You know, rising levels of debt, consumer levels of debt were reported this week. And
so it's not growing as it normally should. I love Peter from Edmonton in the comments says, isn't that normally called a recession? yeah.
Well,
3 consecutive quarters of negative growth is a recession. That's the definition of it. And that's where Canada is. Even when they flub the numbers, it's unbelievable.
Think about this. If the economy, they said the economy for all of last year grew 1.7%. Okay. If we have food inflation at 7.3%, think about that. Right?
But that's them flubbing the numbers. Like what is the GDP per capita?
Well, it actually
over that same period.
It did. So the GDP per capita for the last like 2 years it's been very bad. Like, because what happens is they continue to bring people in to buff up the GDP numbers, but we're all getting poorer overall. So for the first time,
that's why the per capita numbers are a better, a more accurate measure of the economy as a whole, instead of looking at that, because they're, like I said, they're padding the numbers. They're doing it with more bodies. This
report showed that there was it was not strongly negative this time. It was positive, the GDP per capita, and it's because they put a stop to, you know, supposedly the floodgate is over, but we have 2 or 3 million Canadians that are on basically expired visas that or soon to be expired, and they're not looking to even do anything with that. So
you know where the stop is, Mark? The stop is because people stopped coming. Like they're not actually hitting their quotas. They used to go over quota every year, and they finally started reversing, not because they don't want it to, they want it to, they want it to keep growing. They just want to flub it and say they're not making it grow, but they're keeping the numbers high. Just people aren't coming anymore because they realize Canada's a scam, and coming here is going to be detrimental to their lives in general. And they'll probably end up having to go home over time.
You got to see what the CBC said. So CBC is trying to paint this as like such a beautiful economy. We're on fire because they work for the Liberals. And then there was just facts being dropped one after another. So let's just take a look.
It's important to remember that a year ago, the Prime Minister promised Canadians we'd have the fastest growing economy in the G7.
Truth.
The numbers today indicate that we actually have, the slowest growing economy in the G7, or frankly, the fastest shrinking economy in the G7. So I think, it's important to stay focused on affordability, making sure that people have more money in their pockets in order to support themselves and their families, but also push the government to reduce taxes so that it helps people, but it also keeps more money here at home and businesses to reinvest in Canada to keep the economy moving.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying about the GDP data in particular, and we'll have to point out we're talking just Q4 at this point. But what do you say to the warning from private sector economists who say this headline is not representative of the whole picture, that there's actually data, if you read right into all the data, that shows some good metrics for the Canadian economy?
We're AAA rated. We have great credit.
Well, again, I'm not really sure what those good metrics would be. Fewer people are working today than they were working a year ago. As I just mentioned, record levels of household debt. We had disturbing reports this week of consumer insolvencies increasing at an alarming rate. So I think, we need to stay focused. Parliamentarians and the government need to stay focused on delivering results to Canadians to ensure that an economy continues to grow. But if you look at the full year GDP numbers, this growth for the full year is not where it should be. And we need to make sure we're growing the economy to ensure that people have jobs and more money in their pockets at the end of the month.
Okay, well, some of those more positive metrics are like household spending, which rose 0.4% in the fourth quarter after declining for a while. And then on a month-on-month basis, the GDP actually grew 0.2%, up from no change in the previous month.
Pause that real quick.
You also have the GDP per capita.
The reason why household spending has gone up is because the prices of everything has gone up.
Yeah, but the CB, that's what I'm trying to say. CBC is always trying to spin it into
the
Liberals
That is a bad spin,
this booming economy. We have the most booming economy ever. We're on record booming right now. But what's great is the facts are getting dropped. So let's listen to the facts.
Rising for the first time in quite some time. And GDP per capita is something that your party has focused on for quite some time. So it does feel a little bit like the Conservatives are cherry picking numbers to paint a bleaker picture than what the entire
projection
says. So I just get your response to that.
Sure. Well, look, GDP per capita peaked in this country. We're actually lower GDP per capita today than we were in 2019. It's right to be focused on those things. So that's a measure of a living standard. But if the economy is being propped up by household spending, which grew, but that spending is being supported by Canadians taking on record levels of debt, that is a concerning number.
Yes,
we are seeing the results of this through higher consumer insolvencies. And so if debt is supporting the increase of spending, I think that will have challenges for Canadians down the road. It makes us as a nation one of the most, if not the most indebted nation at government level and consumer levels in the G7. That means we are also susceptible to interest rate shocks. So the levels of debt that you have, higher levels of debt you have, the worse pain it will be if interest rates do not go down or in many cases rise.
He's just dismantling her, and it's with facts. With facts, they're trying
absolutely.
It's incredible, but they're not prepared for this because they just got their talking points from the Liberals, and they're like, "Here, just roast Adam here, roast him." And Adam's prepared. He's just dropping the truth. The reason that our spending's going up is because everything is so expensive. So if your food price goes up by 20%, you're going to have to spend 20% more to buy groceries, and you're putting it all on credit card. And
It wouldn't be 20% more, but if your food price went up by 20%, you'd have a marginal amount larger than the previous time period that you're measuring. Absolutely.
But wages aren't going up 20%.
Well, they're bragging about the minimum wage in British Columbia right now, and it's
25
like, well,
cents
that's not
or something. They're going to
40 cents. They're 40 cents more. Yeah.
At this point, what is that? That's not even a click on the gas station. Not even a click. Not even a little drop of gas. If you squeeze it, it's already at $1.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But what it does show you is just how devalued the currency really is. Like they've really destroyed the Canadian dollar, and they've done it through the process of inflating the currency by printing more and more and more in order to continue this liquidity. Nobody's got savings. This is the problem. And people are economically illiterate, and that's initially the big problem. But when people don't have savings, then there's nothing to lend out. And they used to call this environment, they used to call it stagflation, right? Where you would have negative savings in the marketplace, like the genuine marketplace, and then you would have tons of people borrowing money that the government's creating out of thin air. So it's inflationary, but it's a stagnant economy, and you can't go this route. What do we got? Real GDP annualized growth.
So this right here. So what we just got. This is what we just got. We just got the 2025 Q4 G7
poor Japan.
Real GDP annualized growth rates. So Canada is dead last. We were told by Philippe Champagne just this week before he said we're the second fastest growing economy in the G7.
Where do they get that? Like, that's just like, that's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense.
He screeched. I call him Squeaky because he just screams out. He's like, we're the second fastest. And look, we're the worst in the G7. United States is crushing it at 1.4. And they said that their tariffs was going to crush their economy. And it's all, whatever they say, it's the opposite is true. Italy, even Italy's 1.3. Germany was in a recession for 2 years. They're at 1.2. France, everybody is up. Everybody is up. And here's Marc Carney right here.
Who cares? Yeah, right. Who cares indeed?
Who cares about the Canadian economy? You guys elected me, right? Who cares?
Absolutely. Hey, Mark, give me 2 seconds. I tried to text my wife to grab me some. I'll be right back. I'm just going to grab another beer.
No problem. We're going to finish. We're going to watch this again, or not watch it again. We're going to keep watching. We'll keep watching this.
You're now, the Conservatives say, and have been for a while, that we need to see results. That Canada needs results, not just talk. You have India's High Commissioner telling CBC News that India is willing to buy whatever Canada is offering on crude, on LPG, on LNG. Is that not part of getting the stability Canada needs amid the U.S. uncertainty?
Okay. Well, as Pierre had mentioned in his speech yesterday, conservatives support deepening ties with India with respect to the economy and pursuing a free trade agreement. So let's not forget that it was just in the fall that India had increased tariffs on Canadian peas and lentils. So, we want to say, or we would like to see results for Canadian producers. While some of these things sound positive, I think we need to make sure there's follow through and execution to ensure that those results end up being delivered. It is one thing to sign an agreement to agree or a memorandum of understanding, but these are not binding trade agreements. We have said we would cooperate with the government, but to ensure results.
So Marc Carney said he's signed all these memorandums and things in India, but there's no actual deal.
Unbinding documents. Yeah, I don't care about that stuff. Tell me what you've actually done for us. Now, before we get into tariffs, because I love talking about tariffs, just something my wife told me as I went out to grab these beers, and she said, "Don't lie to everybody. There are free meals at the school that my kids go to."
Oh, okay. You're lucky, Clyde. They don't exist where at my school.
My kids don't use them. We don't use them.
Okay.
It's not something, because like I said, my wife is real picky. She's like, no, you're not putting kid stuff in my kids' bodies that we haven't approved ever. No way, not doing it. So my kids never get those. We always feed our kids, but apparently that's a service that's available to them.
You know what's super cool? Your wife's watching our show.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
My wife, she jokes because she always says, "Oh, I'm your invisible wife. Nobody knows I actually even exist." But she's a big fan of all the stuff that we do, and she pays attention to everything that's going on. And she's a huge supporter. And she's my better half. You know what I mean? Without her, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. So y'all better thank her.
Okay, Clyde, I got some bombs here for you. You ready?
Hold on,
it?
before we do. The Indian tariffs. So the reason why India is tariffing Canada is because Canada is a bad player when it comes to trade protectionism. Canada is one of the worst players actually in the Western world when it comes to trade protectionism. And it's gotten away with it for a very long time because typically a lot of countries look at Canada as like, you're not a very big demographic. You have a lot of area, and we would like to be able to trade with all the resources that you have and be able to be in negotiations with you. So we'll just deal with the BS that Canadians ask for all the time. But since the United States has really pushed back on the Canadians, other countries around the world have also pushed back. So lentils, you wouldn't believe how many lentils go to India every year. It's a big part of Canada's agricultural
by the way,
business.
we're going to touch on this. I got all sorts of stuff
cool.
for you today.
Awesome. Great. Let's get into it.
Yeah. But hold on to your Snickers bar for this one. I don't know if you're ready for it, but this is the big news today. The big news. And it is so mind blasting. Ready for it?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm not.
Canada says India is no longer linked to V crime ahead of Carney's trip. You can't make any of this stuff up. You can't make any of this stuff up.
But it is.
Not to BBC and not to mainstream media in Canada is reporting that there's no more linkage. All of a sudden, nothing has changed, by the way. Nothing has changed. All of a sudden, Mark Carney's going with Matt Jeneroux to India and signing trade deals, and there's no more risk of any extortion or nothing. It's all imaginary. So
Two sentences sum this all up. We have always been at war with East Asia. We have never been at war with Eurasia. Tell me anyone in the comments if you get the reference. That's something out of 1984, right? They flip the script on you. They tell you something entirely different, contrary to what it was, and straight up, you're just supposed to buy it. You're just supposed to go along with the party line. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. Of course, that bad stuff is coming from India. A lot of it.
All right, let's see. CTV this morning.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has arrived now in India to start his 3-country trade trip. Canada and India are expected to formally launch talks for a broad trade deal during this visit. CTV News has also learned officials are planning to sign letters of intent and memorandums of understanding on defense, critical minerals, and energy. The Prime Minister's trip comes as federal officials have reassessed India's involvement in foreign interference. They say it's no longer actively happening, but members of Canada's Sikh community disagree.
Sick.
To tell communities who are continuing to live these realities that this connection somehow has magically disappeared is not reassuring. It is dishonest, it is insulting, and it is gaslighting at its highest level.
Earlier this week, Sikh activist Moninder Singh says he was warned by police about a credible threat to him and his family. He's convinced the threat is coming from India's government. Ottawa's public safety minister acknowledges there is still, quote, a lot more work to do to make sure foreign agents are not intimidating people living in Canada.
There you have it.
It goes deeper than that, even, Mark. Like, it goes so deep. The problem with the India relations is, like, most people don't understand what's going on. Like they're just sitting on the sideline. They're like, oh, the Indian people from India, like they're mad or whatever. They don't understand. There's completely different factions and stuff. And not only that, there's this one group of Indians in Canada that have come over. And I'm
more for you. I got more for you.
I'm going to state this though. There are a lot of Khalistani Indians in Canada. Not all Sikhs are Khalistanis, but all Khalistanis are Sikhs. And this has become a big problem. And they have a big issue with Modi and the leadership there. They want an independent state of India. It's crazy. All of the stuff that doesn't even exist in India anymore because that organization's been banned there, has been propped up in Canada by people like Trudeau and Carney allowing this stuff to happen. And I would even say the Conservative Party, who have befriended a bunch of these people from these different groups. It's not good, man. It's really bad what's going on.
But you know what? You know it's bad when Robert Fife, which is like a liberal bootlicker, comes out with this. Check this out.
And to make a statement like that is so bold that all of a sudden India stopped doing this? I mean, it makes absolutely no sense. And there's nobody that takes this person seriously, except obviously the Prime Minister. They tried to do damage control on this, Michael. They sent out the Foreign Affairs Minister yesterday in a CBC interview, which is rather pathetic because she couldn't, she was repeating talking points, but she didn't disavow the official. She never said that he was right. And I guess it comes down to this. India has always said that these are lies, despite all the evidence about them. And so are we to believe that all of a sudden India says, yeah, it's all true. But we were just saying those lies for public, but don't worry, we're not going to do that anymore. None of this makes any sense. And what's going to be bad for the Prime Minister is he's going to meet reporters on Monday. Guess what all the questions are going to be?
Oh, you see what I'm saying? It's going to get spicy. Guess what? I'm going to buy popcorn for this event. I'm going straight to the store. I'm going to be loading up on popcorn. I'm going to be eating it, and I'm going to be going nuts on my Twitter X. So everybody better follow me on Twitter X because I'm going to go and I'm going to clip all of the popcorn moments of this whole thing because it's like
I know you will. You'll be working hard on that.
I'm going to go nuts because we all know it's like all of a sudden there's zero threat. And even Fife, the guy that a Globe and Mail that's 100% supportive of the Liberal Party, just says none of it makes sense. And Marc Carney's got a lot of answering to do when he's in India. This is going to be good.
Yeah, I find it really funny that the guy's he basically called them out. He says like, you know, the CBC, which is basically a propaganda outlet, is talking to their propaganda outlets and asking them not to lie anymore.
It is hilarious. So I got more for you with India. So Marc Carney's going to go to India. And now it just has been leaked now that India is, get ready for this. We might be getting higher tariffs from India on this trip. We're off to a fantastic start. Check this out. One second. I'm going to.
I'm honestly not surprised, though.
All right. One second. And guess what? It's from Scott Moe.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready? Oh, I don't know why it's not showing up. Okay, right here. Ready?
Here we go.
Also, the post tariffs removed and removed before we leave at the end of the week. I certainly, and I've heard some discussion that in this case of lentils, that there's some discussion that they might actually increase to some degree. And so, you know, possibly in the short term, the scenario also
Do you hear that? Lentils tariffs are actually heading up. You know what's funny? Anytime Marc Carney goes anywhere in the world, We have more tariffs by the time he comes home. We get more tariffs. Name one tariff that has been removed. I know China did. We don't even know what he signed in China. But with the US, it's all more tariffs since he showed up into our lives. Tariffs. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets more tariffs from India.
What I'd like to see is like an opposition that comes forward. And you said you were going to talk more about PR later, but I would like to see an opposition say, we'd like to lower the trade barriers to other companies coming to Canada. Like, for example, Canadians' lives are so much more expensive. It's expensive. It's very expensive to live in Canada for a number of reasons, inflation, all this other stuff. What if the government just out of nowhere said, forget it, we're going to allow all of the cell phone providers come into Canada, into Canadian space, and everyone's going to save on their cellular bills immediately. A massive reprieve. Canada has some of the highest cellular payments ever in all of the countries, in all of the modern world. And we could totally get a reprieve from that if they just lifted the embargo on American companies coming to Canada. And there's a number of businesses like that would immediately benefit Canadians, but they don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, we're one big cartel in Canada. It's
absolutely.
Yeah,
but it's not even. Nobody's shy about it. Everybody knows that it's a cartel, but all the politicians won't even bring it to the table as something that would benefit us and actually make our lives cheaper. They just think they just keep spouting this stuff like, oh, but Canada wouldn't be Canada if we didn't have our telecom
It's time
monopolies.
for change, Clyde. It's time for change.
It's long overdue, my man.
Okay, I got a good one here for you, Clyde.
Okay.
See this picture?
Yeah.
This picture, this is a good one. Check this out. China's premier gifted Carney an action camera. Security experts suggest dump it. Can you believe it?
It's an action camera that doesn't turn off, connects to Wi-Fi, and tells the Chinese Communist government everything that's going on in Canadian politics.
This is what's happening. This is
an action camera. Why would they give him that? Of all things,
an action camera, and now security's like, well, you probably should keep that. You know, they told the they told the journalist when they went to China that they had to use burner phones. And these are the people that were going to be buying 50,000 EVs this year, rising all the way up to 70,000. Do you know? Oh, it looks like Clyde froze. Did you know that? You're coming back, but did you know that 50,000 vehicles is more than half of all the vehicles that are sold in Canada are going to be Chinese EVs? And then also, Clyde,
am I frozen on my side, or are you?
Yeah, you're frozen on your side.
Oh, okay. Well, see what I can do to fix my internet.
That's starting to come back. I think it's just a bad internet. So another thing about these vehicles is Canada in its history has only created 40,000 EVs ever. So we've only been able to build 40,000 EVs in our history. And in the first year of this new world order with China, they're going to be bringing in 49,000 EVs. That is more than Canada has ever built. That statistic's wild. And once they're in, you know what they're
going to be bringing in how many?
49,000 this year.
49,000. Is there demand for 49,000 EVs in Canada?
Doesn't matter. And guess what? We have no idea what he signed in China. He refuses to release details of the MOU. Frank Caputo, on his social media account on a daily basis, has come out and said, hey, we're like, so this, he still hasn't updated yet today, but he on a daily basis, and I've been re-sharing his posts, is he's demanding Marc Carney, and you could see it here. It's been 17 days, but today's 18. So I published for Frank today his thing saying, hey, it's day 18. No response, no transparency. The Liberals are refusing to release the intelligence sharing MOU with China, despite recent warning from Chrystia Freeland. Did you see that? Chrystia Freeland's like,
no,
we're going to take a look at that.
I can't stand her voice. So when I see her now, I'm like, it's unconsequential. I'm not going to listen to it.
She said, no, don't deal with China. And Prime Minister.
She said that.
She said that. She's like, China would be a bad idea. That was yesterday. I covered it on my show. Prime Minister himself calling China the biggest security threat and national security risk during the election. And he signed an intelligence sharing MOU, and he refuses to release any of the details. That should be concerning. Plus, we have now a motion spy camera that was given to him as a gift.
Which is funny.
Isn't that just wild?
That's I mean, I don't even know what to say about the spy camera thing. I mean, have you ever seen the footage of what is it? It's Kim Jong-un and Putin meeting, and they both have champagne and they cheers each other and they both look at the glass.
Yeah, I saw
and they
that.
both put it down at the same time. It's like one of those. You get the gift of an action cam, and you look at it and you say thank you, and you put it on the desk and you walk away from it. That's exactly what you do.
Well, based on that article, he brought it home.
What an idiot.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to this beautiful clip here.
In a background briefing to reporters, a senior official is now saying the Carney government believes that India has ceased its attempts at transnational repression in Canada. What did you take from that? Do you believe that?
I don't believe that. I think the official misspoke. I don't know if it was their own opinion or a mistake, but clearly things have not changed to the extent the official implied.
When we do talk about the way that the priorities have shifted, we know that the previous Liberal government felt that India was one of the biggest culprits engaging in foreign interference in Canada. Then a year later we have a new prime minister, and that belief now is that India is no longer committing those acts. What may have changed?
Marc Carney made it change.
I don't think anything has changed. I think that the security agencies are likely still giving the same advice.
And they're being ignored.
Report recently stated that India is still concerned for foreign interference in transnational crime. The duty to warn that happened last week is an indicator that the behavior is continuing, although not all duty to warns are, by definition, because of state-sponsored activity. It does appear in this case that it was. And so the activity is continuing.
I can't wait for my popcorn. It's going to be an interesting thing because we all know, even liberal, this was on CBC. So even liberal, like everybody, it doesn't matter if you're liberal, NDP, like everybody knows. So for them to come out with this it's unbelievable.
Well, I mean, it's par for the course, nothing to see here. It reminds me of that scene from, I think it was Naked Gun, where it's like, nothing to see here, folks. Everyone disperse, and everything's blowing up behind him. Of course. There's all kinds of foreign interference coming from India. India is, I mean, we know why. We know why, because there's a massive Khalistani offshoot in Canada that's operating from within Canada. They have intelligence that's trying to keep an eye on that, while they're also trying to steer electoral stuff in Canada. You have influence coming from China. There's influence coming from the United States. I think we should embrace that. I mean, personally, that's just me, but if you want to ignore that, you can ignore that. But that's the one thing of all of it, the United States foreign influence is the one that everyone's cracking down on. Like, why not China? Why not India? Why not some of these bad actors? Unbelievable.
I agree. So one thing I wanted to share with the audience today, because one thing we've seen in the last 2 weeks, and it's really, you know, I talk to people all the time. I talk to my audience. I read all the comments, by the way. I'll read the comments after the show.
You're a better man than
I'm
me.
trying
I
to
try my best, man. But holy cow,
No,
that's a lot of comments.
I love my
I go
audience.
through 'em.
Everybody that watches, I appreciate them taking the time to leave a comment. So
Absolutely.
I try to read them. I don't get back to everybody to write. I write as many as I can, but I'm also focusing on the next show for everybody so that I could stay up to date.
And not up all night.
No, I don't sleep much. I'm always working. It's a lifestyle. I tell people it's a lifestyle. I mean, the second I wake up, I'm often up at 4 a.m. tweeting because I want to get my tweets out before Toronto has their coffee. So they're already consuming my content. And then by noon, I'm starting to work on my YouTube videos. So that's why people see my videos come out around 3. It's just the way that, you know, I do the X content, and then it helps me build the YouTube experience.
You and me both, brother. I mean, I have my YouTube video up before I go to work, and I work my full-time job.
I know you. I don't know how you do it. I mean, we all have our systems to be able to, you know, get, you know, manage, and it's not easy, that's for sure. But it's important because
you're killing it, brother. You're killing
the work
it.
that we're doing is so important for Canadians. Okay, so what I noticed in the last 2 weeks is that really there's a lot of specifically conservatives very discouraged about the polls. The polls have showed that the conservatives are getting wiped out. Like, and it's major, like major wipeout. I've posted about it saying, you know, this is, you know, I don't know what's going on. I posted about it yesterday as well. And
before you continue, I just want to say, Dauberton, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships to the channel. Really appreciate that.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. If you see supers, please interrupt me because we can acknowledge people. I got lost for this show, by the way.
You have lots? Okay, give me a quick little potty break. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into more. Dude, I can go all night. This is fun.
Hope you guys are having a great time because I am. And it's nice to have Clyde here because he's great when it comes to discussing different points. I'm making sure that we cover the most crucial things. I got all sorts of stuff for everybody. I worked hard to put together a pretty good show for us tonight. So I just wanted to show you guys the polls. And so I'm going to pull this thing up so that you could kind of see. And I put it together. I put it into a graphic so that people could kind of see what it looks like. Let's see. I'm coming up. Yeah, I posted a lot on X. So I'm trying to go back all the way back in time and find it. It's coming up. All right. Everybody having a good Friday?
Oh, my bad. I get attacked as soon as I go in there. I got 2 kids running at me. Dad, I got to show you this. I'm sure you get lots of the same.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
But yeah, so do you know I used to do a Friday show? I did it for almost 4 years. And yeah, we just stopped it recently. But I just love doing this. I absolutely love doing it. I love just hanging out with the chat, and especially chatting with you tonight, Mark. This is a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Oh, I was just saying, like, it's fun having someone that you know, we get into the conversation pretty good. Okay, well, forget. I'm looking through. I tweet way too much, so I'm not even going to go back to.
You're on it. You're on it.
Yeah, I tweet. I'm trying to go back. I'm like 100 back, and I'm like, man, it's not showing. Either way,
I want to do a quick plug. So for people that don't know, on YouTube, you can use YouTube similar to Twitter. there's a thing like, so if you go to my channel or you go to Marc's channel and you go to the main page, there'll be a link that says community. It's actually it's in a weird spot, but it says visit community. You'll see like home videos, but above that it says visit community, and you can go in there and you can actually post your own memes and stuff. So you could go in there and you want to share a meme with Marc or myself.
Well,
and
I don't think I have that feature on, Clyde.
Oh, you don't have that on? Okay,
No,
well, you can go to mine. You can go to mine and share your memes, share it all.
You know what? It's because Moose, I
polite.
talked to Moose on the loose, and he's like, yeah, he had that feature on, and then he got penalized by YouTube because people were putting some stuff that, and he had to go in. He got like thousands, so he had to clean it up. And he's like, it got out of control on his channel. I don't know. That's what he told me. I was like, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I have the feature on. Go have at her. Go post the stuff you want to say. Because it helps our channels. If you're in there and you're engaging and doing that stuff, YouTube right now is trying to promote that. So get on over and do that.
Okay, so this is Vesper Digital today. He posted, and he did a really good job here. So we see all these polls showing super majority for the Liberals, and the Conservatives are getting completely destroyed. So Angus, Main Street, Liaison, Ecos, and Nanos, he broke it down. Donations, campaign roles, family ties, lobbying, millions in federal contracts. How Canadians could trust these polls are unbiased. I don't know if we can, because all of these polls, so you said right here, Ecos got over $17 million worth of contracts, 164 contracts dated between 2016 and 2025 during the Liberal administration. So Ecos has received all of this money. And obviously, when you get paid all this money, and even Graves, he said, he posted a hostile message about Pierre saying, like, you will never win any election ever in this country, ever. So he posted that. And then there's Main Street Research. An MP described Keto's Maggie as in the House of Commons as a paid Liberal organizer. And, it goes on like the connections and how they're connected to each one. And then Liaison's got their senior Liberal operative, head of liaison strategy. So they're all left-leaning people. They support the Liberals. So how do we know that they're not, they're
not lying to you and they're not skewing the data?
Like,
you
so
don't.
This one here,
you're supposed to just trust them. And that's what trust is. So the idea is that the purpose of this is that they're trying to, they're supposed to be putting out as much evidence that they can be trustworthy as possible. They haven't done that. They haven't done that at all.
But look at this, $2.6 million during the Liberal administration, with nearly $1 million last year, or 2024, 2025.
Yep. Wasn't it Nanos that said that he wanted the Liberals to get voted in?
They all want
did.
Liberals. I mean, it's so basically what this is we have a paid off mainstream media getting $1.4 billion, and then they're paying these guys.
Pollsters. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, until the illusion's cracked, it's not going to really do much. It is propaganda. It's Pravda. Like what Canada has is akin to Pravda. I don't think there's a more propagandized country in the world than Canada. I mean, like even the North Koreans, I think, see through the BS. Canadians buy it. Like they honestly do buy it. I didn't realize just how much they bought it until the last election came, and people were told to do the elbows up thing, and they absolutely did. They just went along with it.
180,000 media people have Marc Carney's back.
Prime Minister, know that every person in this room and the 180,000 people who work in this industry have your back, just as we know that you have ours.
Yeah. So
did you hear that? Barely anybody clapped because they're like, what? Ooh. What did I just hear? And
so,
you know this.
So
This clip
just
was
for
deleted.
clarity,
Yeah.
right. So just for clarity, this guy and apparently the people that he was working with, they weren't in the news media, but they were in entertainment, and that was that part of that. So a little bit of the pushback that I got when I talked about this was, hey, those guys are entertainers. They're into entertainment and all that stuff.
No, that's the story that Mark Miller gave. But in
story Mark
reality,
Miller,
yeah, but in reality, it covers everybody.
Yeah. So the people in the audience were also media. They were also the news media and what have you. But the fact that people say that, oh no, but they're entertainers, that's not a thing. That doesn't exonerate them. To have the entire media apparatus, including entertainers, pledge their allegiance to Mark Carney, that's not a good thing at all. When entertainers are writing stories that lean left always and are basically propaganda, and not basically, they are propaganda. A lot of this stuff that goes out to our kids and to us as entertainment is propaganda. And this is why they push the CBC so much. This is why they want Canadian content laws to be so prevalent in Canada, is because they don't want it to get drowned out by US entertainment, because they want to be able to propagandize the people. This is what they do.
I saw something Donald Trump tweeted this morning showing that Apple News had 600 articles to left-leaning and 0 right-leaning. I don't know if you saw that. So it's
I didn't see
happening
that,
in the
but I'm
US
not
as well.
surprised. Oh yeah, the US is all over this. I mean, if you look at it, what is it? The United States has, CNN, MSNBC, a whole myriad of left-leaning reports from different agencies, and then you have Fox News that everybody says the only right-leaning station. Now, Fox News does what they can to give as much airtime to the Democrats as well. If you watch Fox News, they actually give a lot. They give, you might say, and studies have been done to say that they do skew left, or so they skew to the right, but not that much. Not compared to how much all of the other agencies skew to the left. It's unfathomable, like how much it skews to the left. If that all didn't exist, what do you think the voting demographics would look like? Actually, if people were actually informed, with the results of the last election going so far for Donald Trump, I mean, it really goes to show that people are not really into what they're trying to push on us.
No. And Cindy, thank you so much. Great show, Mark. Let's get into this report. That's right. Thank you so much. All right, let's take a look at so people know there's small accounts out there that they post things, and a small account on, I believe it was on TikTok, posted this. They had 100 followers, and it came onto my feed, and I could not believe my eyes when I saw this. So as soon as it came on, I was like, okay, this is because CBC was like saying, hey, Matt Genereux, the people of Alberta, they just starting to love Mark Carney. They love Mark Carney now. We see the polling things. Now they're showing that, more people in Alberta like Mark Carney. And I just showed you the polls, But, for all the people, we need to see this again.
Comes to be elected again. But there's also, the reality that some people in Alberta are kind of warming up to the Prime Minister because he has taken markedly different positions on issues that matter to them, whether it be energy development or climate change measures that he's backed off on. So maybe Mr. Genereux feels like his riding is starting to move in that direction as well.
Rosie, thank you. The CBC's Chief Political Correspondent Rosemary Barton live in Ottawa. Minister of Industry Melanie Joly is speaking to reporters in Montreal. Let's listen.
Her mic's still on.
Just because it's all made up anyway.
It's all made up anyway. Let's hear that again.
Wow.
Just because it's all made up anyway.
Oh, she did the cackle first. You missed that.
She's laughing at Canadians' faces saying it's all made up. Listen, we know it's all made up. We know it's all made up. But for the first time in Canadian history, we heard it. We heard honesty. We heard for the truth for once. It came out. It is all made up anyway.
It is all made up. It's
all
propaganda.
And to hear it. So when I saw it, I sent it out. I posted on social media. I sent it to Moose. I said, did you guys see this? And then it just, everybody just kind of published it. It went parabolic. There's like tens of millions of views. It's insane.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that when that hit. I wasn't surprised. Eventually you're going to have some hot mic moment. Was she disciplined for it? No. Did they make excuses for it? Absolutely. And they play it off like it never happened.
No, I don't. They didn't even say anything about it. They acted like it didn't happen.
Oh, they just didn't. Okay, fair enough. They didn't address it.
They just moved on and started, spewing all sorts of new nonsense for us to get distracted and get angry about.
Wow.
It's just incredible what they're feeding us on a daily basis. All right, now that I showed you this, you are not going to believe what I saw today. All right. We're going to check out this committee meeting. And when they're talking about numbers, let's check this out.
Minister, we're voting on the BIA tonight. Your budget identified 2 fiscal anchors to balance operational spending by 2028, 2029, and to maintain a declining deficit to GDP ratio. Do you maintain that these are still your anchors? I ask because your budget introduced a $78 billion deficit and over $140 billion in new spending. And since then, the supplementary estimates ask for an additional $5.4 billion. This includes $150 million.
Point of order. Are we?
Yes.
We're talking about the CRA 100-day plan during this meeting. I'm not sure why we're getting into budget discussions.
Well, as you know, I allow members wide latitude to question witnesses as they see fit. It's their time, and I allow them to use it as they like. So I'm going to allow this questioning. I see the finance minister was eager to answer these questions, so I will turn things back over to Ms. Kuzi. And,
that was good.
4.5 minutes left.
Thank you, Chair. And I'd be embarrassed if my government was spending this much money as well. And I assure you it's relevant because the more money your government spends, the more taxpayers have to pay. As I was saying, this includes $150 million in new operational funding for the CBC and $1 billion for Canada.
What? Do you hear that?
$150 million new dollars.
We already do 1.4.
That's crazy.
Their new budget. And this is a little like piece that I caught. People would just they wouldn't even catch that. It was said so quickly. $150 million more dollars going to.
Mark, are you telling me you actually sit through these?
I watch everything.
Oh my goodness!
I have 4 screens going all at once, and I listen to 4 different committee or clips at the same time. It's actually a skill. I couldn't do it when I first started. I didn't know how to do. Now I'm listening to 4 different audios and able to catch things. And I'm listening to all.
I'm gonna get tips from you after this stream.
Oh, and by the way, it's all at 2 speed.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
So I have everything at 2 speed, and I have up to 4 different videos going all at once at 2 speed, and I'm catching and I'm clipping. That's how I'm able to do so many clips. It's a skill. You got to practice every day. I started obviously just 1 at 2 speed. And then I'm like, hey, let me see if I could do 2 at 2 speed. And I'm like, yeah. And then I started doing 2 at 2 speed. I'm like, oh, I'm catching things. I'm actually able to do it. And then I kept building on it. I mean, 4, sometimes you miss things, but you catch things and you're like, you just sit there and you listen and you catch things.
Wow.
Yeah. So, we could listen to a little bit more of this, but I could not believe, let's hear that again. Another $150 million to CBC.
In new operational funding for the CBC, more taxpayers have to pay. As I was saying, this includes $150 million in new operational funding for the CBC and $1 billion for Canada Post. And there's more spending still not included in either budget. $12 billion for your grocery benefit, which doesn't bring down the cost of groceries, as well as $6 billion for electric vehicle incentives. In the PBO's analysis of the budget, he found that there was just a 7.5% chance that your declining deficit to GDP anchor would actually be realized. And that analysis came before your government announced the billions in additional spending since the budget. Can you be honest with Canadians now and
No,
tell them
they cannot.
exactly what percentage the likelihood of your fiscal anchor is to be met?
0%.
Well, I'm glad, first of all, that you focus on the budget. I mean, I hope you spend a lot of time reading it, because you'd find that Canada is
so
one of
arrogant.
the very few countries in the world, you don't need to take my word, but take the word of the International Monetary Fund, that says there's only 2 countries in the world which have the fiscal capacity to really help their people during this particular time. She mentioned Germany and Canada. Why? Because we have both a AAA credit rating.
Oh, I knew
Two
it was
countries
coming.
which
I knew it was
invest in
coming. Pop the
infrastructure,
collar,
housing,
pop the
and
collars.
productivity innovation,
Triple A,
are going to be
baby.
leading the way.
Triple A
And that's
ratings.
why you mentioned
Unreal.
the grocery benefit. I would just I think, again, a bit of humility. This is helping 12 million Canadians.
Okay, wait 1 second. Okay, it's not.
I'm
helping
sorry. We got a thing
anybody.
on the channel. We got a thing on the channel when we're reviewing this stuff. And anytime they say AAA credit rating in Canadian Parliament, you got to pop your collar and AAA.
AAA. You know, the day that we fall from AAA, I'm gonna clip all of the times that they said AAA and just rub it in their face. Now what? Now what? Your AAA is garbage. And now
It is garbage.
Yeah, and listen to this: 12 million Canadians are gonna get this grocery and essential rebate. That's it. First of all, that's admission that people cannot eat in this country. That's the first part that I have to say. The second part is their $900 additional dollars that they're going to be getting per family is going to be gobbled up by inflation by the end of the year. So, and then they're going to reduce it to like $450 per family. So it's like $900 this year. Then it's going to go down to $400. Inflation is going to compound, meaning by next year, the $400 is not going to be enough for anything. It's going to be $1,000 to $2,000 additional for groceries. This is like, we're going down a slippery slope here, and it's rapidly going backwards. This is not good.
No, it's not good.
I just want to thank Lanny. Thank you so much for this massive super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you for all your hard work, Mark. Cheers. Keep it up. Get on that Nix list for us. Yes, of course. I'm going to have to make that Nix list. I have actually things on the Nix list, and I'm going to bring it because I have a few things that I need everybody to do. So important. There are Bill C9 that's still going, and we have other things. So thank you so much. And yeah, and for the reminder and the shove, because I need to get that list out. And we also have Wickenden. Oh, where is it? Oh, where did it go? Oh, right here.
There you go.
I don't watch mainstream media. Same reason. I don't eat from a toilet.
I don't eat from the toilet. Exactly. That's hilarious.
All right, let's keep going.
Wait, we had another one from the other me member for 34 months over on my side said, I watched the committees. It's just crazy. Miss your Friday nights, Clyde. When are we doing another get together in the Lower Mainland? Well, we might have to make that happen. Mark, you're going to show for that one, right? Because that'll be in your neighborhood.
You have to give me a heads up because I like my life is pre-booked for like it's almost like the whole year in advance.
I bet.
Yeah, I'll have to bribe some people to get out of things. I'm pretty sure.
Fair
All
enough.
right, let's. But yeah, for sure.
But I can tell you, when I look at folks in my neck of the wood and in my riding and across many regions, if you look at the numbers, it's going to help a lot of families. And you don't need to take it from me. Take it from Food Bank Canada and others. We said we have done a boost and a bridge.
2.2 million Canadians have had to use a food bank as a result of your government's 11-year record on the budget. That includes the $78 billion deficit that you just presented this year. And why did your budget not include the additional billions that you have since announced since you put forward your budget?
So what I was saying is that
Wow.
I think
It's true.
You should look at the grocery benefit and essential as
Oh
helping
my!
families. So
Oh,
it's not
we
when
also
you look
spent
at
money
I go to the
on.
grocery store in my riding, Minister. I can see
Point of order.
people, they are filled with trepidation
Point of
as they
order.
go to put items back in the aisle that they had in their
Ms.
cart.
Kuzi, I've Point of order. Yes, Mr. McKenna.
I would ask the member to let the minister answer when she asks a
Well,
question.
Mr. McKenna, as you know, the time is sacred, and while I do value responses from witnesses and do allow witnesses to finish their answers even after the time is expired, I think that's unique in this committee. Members do have to kind of have their elbows up to ensure they're heard in their time as well.
Elbows up, you hear that?
Point of order. In relation to the point of order, I think the tone was respectful. We've seen stronger emotions at committee. I think this was not necessary. Thank you.
It's true. It was totally unnecessary to have a point of order there. Unbelievable what we're seeing in Canada on a daily basis. You know, when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, there's so much stuff. I don't know what's most important and it's always insane. I'm like, this is just, you know, I'm blown away on a daily basis. And people go, how do you have so much things to talk about? How do you have so much tweets to make? And I'm like,
There's
you
way
have
too much to
no
talk
idea.
about.
There's so much happening.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't deep dive in Canadian stuff as much as I used to. I don't. I look at things that are happening between Canada and the United States, and that's what I focus on. What's happening between the two countries. I think what Canada's been doing is ludicrous, and I think the United States is moving in the right direction. I have mostly focused on that. And then obviously worldly politics as well. Big things.
It's time to start feeling better. After everything I've been putting forwards for people, let's start feeling a little bit better here. So we got some breaking news today. And this news is another thing that it's just one thing after another. I'm starting to get excited about Pierre Poilievre because he's coming out as a different person. Yesterday, we got the best speech I've ever seen in his political career, and I'm not lying about that. I actually feel that way. It was so well done. I wanted to hear that America, and I wanted to hear solutions, and I wanted to hear that America is our best friend, is our family. America's our family. We're not moving and marrying China. This is nonsense. And I wanted to hear him say it, and he finally did. Now, listen to this. Pierre Poilievre's doing something for the first time since he was elected as the leader of the Conservative Party. And let me tell you this. I think Jamal Giovanni going down to the U.S. was him planting a seed for Pierre to form a relationship with Trump. Because if Trump...
I want to get into this, yeah.
If Trump actually starts liking Pierre, it's over for Carney, okay? But listen to this. Pierre, for the first time of his political career, we got some breaking news today. Let's watch.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre heading to Europe next week in his first official overseas trip as opposition leader. The Conservative Party says it is paying for the trip. Poilievre will be in the UK and Germany with the goal of reinforcing and strengthening business and diplomatic ties. This week in a speech, the Conservative leader targeted Donald Trump's trade policies. Poilievre plans to meet British lawmakers and members of the business community in London, along with visiting a liquefied natural gas facility in Hamburg.
There you have it. Let's talk about it because I'm going to...
Right. What do we have? He's going to go talk to people.
So he's flying across to Europe. This is the first time he's left the country. And I believe he's going over there to get some experience at talking to other foreign countries. He's like, if I'm going to be the prime minister of Canada, I better be able to talk to other countries and form relationships. And this could be a warm up for him going down to the US. This is all speculation, but this is the gut feeling I have is that. And so when I saw how excited I was like, he's going to Europe. He's leaving the country and talking to other people. And then even in a speech, he said, hey, we need to, I'll work with Marc Carney. That's a completely different Pierre Poilievre. He's coming out different. And you know what I liked about, hey, I'm going to work with every single party. We need to come together in unity. It puts the Liberals in a very, very bad spot because they don't want to work with Pierre Poilievre. Right? He's toxic.
No, they don't want to.
They don't. And so if
they want to make him to be toxic. That's absolutely what their goal is.
So he's playing them perfectly right now because if he comes forth with great solutions, talks about how we could win, because we haven't won in this country in a decade. When was the last time we could actually say we won something? If we look at even the Olympics, with the Liberals, we haven't won a gold medal, but before that we won. There's no winning. I mean, nothing to be like, yeah, we won. Our standard of living is like I go to the store and I look at a piece of steak and I'm like, I'm gonna have to remortgage my house for this one. It's just insane. Like, you know.
So
unbelievable.
what is his plan? Like, what does he put forward? Because I watched not his whole speech, portions of his speech, and a lot of things that people were posting about it. And what I saw was a different point of view. It was a different perspective than what he put forward during the election, which during the election, I was very, very skeptical of his portrayal of who the United States were, where they stood with Canada, where Canada stands with the United States. And I was very much at a disagreement with Pierre and where he was on that.
Well, let's take a look at let's look at some clips so that we could kind of take a look at some of the stuff that. So first one, the president talks. Let's see what he says here.
The president's talk of 51st statehood, whether it is a joke or
Oh,
not,
just so you know,
is unacceptable. It goes.
Pause that. I got nailed for copyright on the music that they have in the background on this one.
Okay, I'll play a different one.
Yeah. Just Pierre Poilievre's own clips have that. This is something that the Conservative Party does, and they don't think about the creators that want to share this stuff out. I've actually even sent messages to the Conservative Party and through the channels that I know and said, can you just stop using copywritten music when you do stuff? Because it makes it so people can't share it. Anybody who does this, anyone who does this on YouTube and whatever, we get nailed on this. I had to spend an extra half an hour on my video this morning using YouTube's editing software to get rid of the music so that I was able to even post the video.
You know what's interesting is the Liberals, they figured it out because I've shared Marc Carney with his ridiculous sound.
And but none of it's copywritten.
No, you could share all the
you
Liberal.
can share it all you want, but the Conservative stuff, you get nailed for it every time. Yeah,
that's weird. Okay, let's
send some messages, man. I did my due diligence. I let them know.
I do the extra work. You know, I do the work. I take out the music. I know.
Done it. Yeah, I've had to do it so many times, time and time again. But
all right,
let's see this.
Let's see this clip.
What President Trump says about Canada is wrong. Our trade surplus does not represent exploitation by Canada of the United States of America. Quite the opposite, in fact. It is the result of us selling very good and very well priced, in fact, below market priced raw materials, which America then upgrades and turns into massive profits for its economy. Ironically, U.S. workers gain six-figure salaries, turning our raw meat material into profit to their country, and they owe a big debt of gratitude to politicians and bureaucrats in Canada who have blocked us from building the necessary infrastructure to take those resources to world markets. He's also wrong to ignore the sacrifices Canada has made for the United States. Canadians fought and died along Americans in Afghanistan.
I hate this.
And let's be clear, we did that.
Pardon?
So I hate this. I hate because so this is something that Canadians do that pisses me off all the time. So when the U.S. gets in a conflict and Canadians come and aid in the conflict, you should do that out of like something that you do. But Canadians always use it as a crutch, as a look at what we did for you. If that's what it is, then the sacrifices, are they even sacrifices?
No, I agree. I mean, that wasn't his whole speech, though.
It's not his whole speech, but it's something he's speaking to a lot of Canadians, and Canadians do this. They absolutely do this. To his first point, that the Americans are taking advantage of Canadians. Why would it be seen as Americans taking
No, but
advantage
that's not what he
of?
said. That's not what he said.
But what he did say was Americans were taking advantage of a situation that the Canadians caused on their own.
Yeah, he was blaming the Liberals for blocking our pipelines east, west, everywhere. So, I mean, if we didn't do this, we're going to get to net zero nonsense, we wouldn't even be, we have this prime minister saying we have to sacrifice more. We've sacrificed so much and we need to sacrifice more. If we actually developed our natural resources, the US could, have this tantrum and we wouldn't be in this situation where we're.
So the problem here is like you have the leader of the opposition. He's speaking to a Canadian audience, but he has to understand that he's also speaking to an American audience because they can watch these too.
No, but he said some great things about it for the American audience as well.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. And we'll get into that. And I want to get into that. But what I'm saying though, is when he says some things like this, especially the like, look at what we did back in Korea and what we did in the Second World War and the First World War and in Afghanistan, it comes across as needy. And why did you even do that? Did you do that just so you can hold that on us? Or why are you using the valor of brave men that came way before you and using that as a negotiation tactic for today? Because it's not good. And now again, I'm gonna go to the thing that he said about Canada screwing over Canada. When the way he phrased it, for the American that watches that, they look at it like, are you kind of blaming us for taking advantage of you because you screwed yourself over? Why? Like we're just giving you the market value for a thing that you're giving us. You screwed yourself over. Don't blame us. Leave us out of this whole equation. And that largely is how Americans who are watching this from the outside in see it. And I think that what he's done since the election, like Pierre Poilievre, let's just be honest. When he had his Apple speech, or not a speech, but his Apple moment with that journalist, that went viral. Americans viewed it. They loved it. Europeans watched it. It went all over the world because he was being real. He was just being real with a guy who's bullshitting him, right? And people loved that. When his election came around, he went from Pierre Poilievre to PR Poilievre. He was public relations Poilievre, and people hated it. He turned fake and plastic very quickly, and I was turned off. A lot of other people were turned off. That sucks, man. And it really sucked because I was rooting for him. I was hoping that he would win that election, and I got a lot of flack for just pointing it out. But it's what happened. A lot of people said, Clyde, don't rock the boat. He'll lose if you rock the boat. It's like, if I make him lose, then I don't have that much power, but please don't trust that much in my commentary.
I have to say that he wasn't, I was disappointed that he was scared. You can't be scared. You have to lead.
No.
You have to take leadership and just make decisions. They might not always be the right decision, but lead with courage, right? Lead with passion and courage. You can't be scared of mainstream media. You can't be scared of the left. And they were terrified.
And that's why people still have apples in their profiles on X and all over the place. And they leave
I just
Apple
want to say
emojis.
one thing. One thing I do want to mention is that I do like when Pierre talks about the war and First, Second World War. Maybe in this context, no, but I do like it when our politicians, especially the conservatives, because we have to remember for the sacrifices that were made for us to have our freedom.
Not as a negotiation point.
No,
though.
not as a negotiation, but I think potentially he wanted, in his speech, he probably wanted people to remember the sacrifices made. So it might have not been the right moment, but I like hearing about the sacrifices that were made for our freedom.
Absolutely.
More often. In fact, it would be nice if you wore a poppy on a daily basis. We have to remember.
Yeah, well, and that's what Don Cherry was good for, and he got canceled because of it, because he stood up for the veterans.
He's a hero to me, Don Cherry. He's
absolutely,
fantastic.
absolutely. And
do you want to keep?
do
you want to keep seeing Pierre, or do you want to move on? I got other stuff too.
We'll go on to Pierre, but dude, I broke the seal, so I gotta run and do this real quick. I'll be right back.
No worries. So how's everybody's Friday going? Is you guys liking the live stream so far? Trying to get caught up on some of the comments. Love Don Cherry. Yeah, I love Don Cherry too. The poppy. You know, I might start wearing the poppy more often on my show, because we got to keep. And that's why on the background, you'll be able to see on my show, I have, lest we forget, God keep our land glorious and free. No, I didn't mind Clyde. You know, that's the thing about me is I like other people's viewpoint to see what people are thinking. And there's no right answer for anything. I want to hear what people have to say. I'm fine with what Clyde had to say about Pierre. I have my own criticisms with Pierre. I think that he needs to, it looked like he has more courage already. He's going to Europe. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, if he leads with courage.
No, I want this. I want us to have this back and forth, because
no,
this is good. I was
just reading some of the comments, and they said, Mark, it didn't look like Mark liked what Clyde had to say. I say, no, I want to hear other people's perspective. It's important. This is called communicating to see what people are.
This is what I think is important. And I think that so what I think is that a lot of like ex-liberals and ex-NDP have been getting into positions of influence in the Conservative Party. And I think this is why they've been shifting towards like hive mind approach, where I think that more dissent is a bigger, better thing for the Conservatives, rather than you're on our page or you're out kind of thing.
Well, that's a liberal thing. Everybody agrees with everything. On the Conservative side, it's good to disagree, because we could figure out what is the best solution.
So invite back people like myself and Marty up north, because we've been pariahs.
I love Marty.
We've been pariahs, and we're not allowed to talk with conservatives anymore, because we've been shunned.
I like talking to everybody, because you know what? I don't know everything. So I want to learn from other people. I don't know everything. So everybody's got a unique perspective. I'm all about learning. Like every day I want to learn as much as possible. And I acknowledge I don't know. Some people are just brilliant. They know so many different things. So I like finding out about different things.
We all have our niches that we're good with, right?
That's right. So Wickenden, thank you so much for the super. Wear red on Fridays, metal poppy on collar every other day. I like it. We could start a thing. You know, if people start wearing poppies in public, we're going to start seeing them pop up everywhere. All right. So let's go back. If we could go do Pierre, or we could go back to the House of Commons today. I got some more on that.
Let's keep going with Pierre, because I'm interested in this topic. This is something I did a whole video on it this morning.
Okay.
And not just Pierre, but like just sentiment. I did a whole big thing on sentiment in Canada against the United States, and I'm not keen on it. And to be honest, the reason why I did the video this morning is because I thought it was refreshing that Pierre had switched gears and is being perceivably more pro-American. I like it.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I've been waiting, like, whenever the Conservatives were against the US, I'm like, that no. And I think it goes back to the fear. They're scared of the left. You can't be scared. You have to lead. Leading means courage. You have to lead with courage. Lead with your heart. Do the right thing. We're all counting on you to do the right thing. Okay, let's continue.
Exclusively in response to an attack on our American neighbors. We also fought and bled along America, not just in the trenches of Western Europe, but in Alaska's Aleutian Islands, defending American territory in the Second World War.
So don't
And of
tariff
course,
us.
we joined rapidly to fight communism in Korea. And in countless other ways, our cooperation, whether it's NORAD or our efforts to secure the Arctic, have been beneficial to both countries. And let's be clear about another thing. The president's talk of 51st statehood, whether it is a joke or not, is unacceptable. It goes without saying there is zero chance of Canada ever being a part of the United States.
Pause it right there. Oh, it's paused right there. So you'll see behind me, I have a Canadian flag, but instead of a maple leaf, it's a 51. It's a joke, folks. It's a joke. And the reason why we lean into a joke like this, so I come from the trades. I come from the trades where we poke at each other. This is a thing that we do. We always poke at each other. We're poking and prodding and trying to find each other's weaknesses all the time. And the second that we say something that gets under your skin, that's now your nickname forever. If you're insecure about your height, you're always tiny forever. If you're insecure about this or that, that's the thing. What we got?
I want to see Pierre on Joe Rogan. Yeah, that will show. You know what? If he did that, that would show courage to me. I mean, I want to see.
That's if he'll ever get re-invited. I'm telling you, Pierre Poilievre shit the bed for a bed without a lot of good terms.
I think social media people could help him out with that.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what I think.
I mean, Joe Rogan's already aired the fact that his people reached out and they're like, "No, you're toxic. We can't talk to you." That's bad news, man. Like, don't burn bridges like that. If you're gonna burn bridges like that as a candidate, what are you gonna do as the leader? That's not a good sign.
I hope he turned the page, Clyde. I hope he turned the page.
We're all hoping.
All right. So what I also liked here is he was grilled here. And one of the things that I liked, and that's why I want to show this clip. Yeah, let's just watch this thing.
What I take from your speech is that you're very calm. You have a very calm tone when it comes to talking about the United States. But Canadians are pretty angry about what's happening. So why aren't you angrier about this?
We want you to be angry.
Well, because what would that do? Would that get the auto worker in Windsor working again?
No,
would
it wouldn't.
Would allow people to put food on their table.
Is my name
in
Doug Ford?
Hamilton or the Sioux? We have to focus on what we can do and what we can control. That's all we can do. We can't control what the president and this is, by the way, something that Marc Carney has said, and I agree with him. He has said that we cannot control what the U.S. president says or does. We can control what we do on this side of the border in our own national interest. And by focusing on what we can control, then we can determine our own destiny.
Very well
So
said.
This is the most well put thing that Pierre has said in a very long time. And I support this 100%. I'm absolutely behind what he said because it makes total freaking sense. Honestly, Donald Trump came forward and he said, "We don't want Canada to make our cars. We don't want Canada to make our cars." That is Southwestern Ontario. Southwestern Ontario, that is the bulk of the industry there. That's what they do. And Donald Trump basically without didn't mince words. He said, "We don't want them to make our cars. We want those manufacturers to move back to the United States." And that's it. He gave the invite. You could make the border pass into those areas and you'd be fine. But Canadians wouldn't budge on that, obviously, for a ton of reasons. But he said, we want to reshore our manufacturing. Same as Mexican manufacturing that, automobile manufacturers that went to Mexico. He wants to onshore those back into the United States. Now, what does that mean for Southwestern Ontario? Pretty dire circumstance.
So
it's not good.
My thought here is, what does Canada have an abundance of?
Resources.
Correct.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about?
We're talking about labor.
Yeah. But we could take our labor and
move it into our resources?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Like, start digging up the ground, start getting the oil out, start doing what made Canada rich in the first place. Like, we need to, if Donald Trump wants to build cars and that's what he's like set on, And we're in a negotiation looking, but we integrated. And why are we crying going, okay, well, you want to build the cars? We're going to get you the metal for the cars. We're going to get you all of the battery like we're going to give you all the resources that you currently don't have. Don't go to other countries. We're going to be there for you to trade.
I couldn't agree with you more, Mark, because coming to the table with Donald Trump and saying, how can we serve you better?
Yeah.
Would have been a better approach. But the approach was to puff up like a puffer fish.
It's for
and get angry. And what did Ontario do in response to Donald Trump saying that the auto manufacturers in southwestern Ontario need to leave and go into the United States? They said, we're no longer going to carry your alcohol on our shelves. So it's a pissing match that has been the approach. And up until recently, let me just be clear, Pierre Poilievre hasn't made any signs to say that he wasn't on board with this kind of pissing match. He's been saying things like the unjustified tariffs, unjustified and unreasonable tariffs. Canada has had, tariffs on the United States, trade embargoes, and all kinds of barriers to entry on the United States for a very long time. They do not want to talk about this because it's true. And this is what Donald Trump's talking about. They want to avoid it. They codified into law Bill S-202 as soon as Carney got in. And the Conservatives were on board with it. They voted it in as fast and speedily as possible and put it through the Senate. So it became law that the government cannot negotiate the dairy lobby with the United States. They worked really fast together on that, but they can't work fast together on anything else. This is really, really crazy. And then to add insult to injury, Doug Ford made an advertisement where he took Ronald Reagan out of context, speaking about tariffs in his speech when he was actually talking about the president's authority to be able to use tariffs against other countries and how the Supreme Court at the time was trying to challenge that. Doug Ford took that same speech, changed the words around, and made it look like it was Ronald Reagan saying that tariffs are bad, and put that out to the American public. This is bad. It's really bad for Canada. The trade negotiations that are coming up in July for the USMCA, or what people in Canada call the CUSMA agreement, that's not going to fare very well. It's actually, USMCA has been the only thing keeping Canada afloat because 80% of goods and services are protected under USMCA currently. If that agreement was gone, Canada is underwater immediately. And I think Pierre taking this stance now is like, come on, dude, why didn't you do this a long time ago? That's my estimate of it. But seeing that he finally did, at least, I welcome it. I welcome it.
I just want to answer a question here. I think it's important. So I got a question. Marc is against Alberta separating from Canada. From Travis. I'm going to
clear like a statement less than a question.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to clear that up. I'm supportive of Albertans. Whatever Alberta wants to do, I have family that live in Alberta, and I might actually become Albertan. Right now I can't sell nothing is, I have several neighbors.
You'll be like me, a dual citizen, and people will say that you have too many alliances.
Alberta is my people. I mean, I went to Alberta last month, and I mean, I loved Alberta, and those are my people. I could see myself joining Alberta, and whatever Alberta wants, I'm all in for. And if it's independence, I'm all in with independence so I'm for the Alberta people, whatever the people want, I'm in. And if that's the way it's going to go, I'm joining. I'm out of this BC place that I actually was born here. I love this place, but you know,
I was not born here. I was born in Ontario, Northern Ontario, and I grew up in Southwestern Ontario. That's why I know so much about it. I hated the culture there, and that's why I left and found myself in British Columbia. And oh man, I'm on my way out of here.
Yeah, so I was born in the Lower Mainland, lived here my entire life, and it will be difficult because my family's here. But at the same time, I have family in Alberta. You know, so Yeah, it's definitely in the cards. So I want to show this article here. It says the Prime Minister, this is a National Post here. The Prime Minister may promise to sweep aside internal trade barriers and build things at speeds thought impossible. But when he doesn't actually do it, nobody cares. In Marc Carney's Canada, nothing matters.
Wow,
You
the
see
National
this?
Post is scathing.
But I mean, I see this article and you see that smile. Let's go back. Do you see that
Oh,
smile?
he's got that smirk. Yeah. The
What an
evil
article
grin.
that was. Yeah, I saw that today, and I mean, and then, you know, obviously there's just like a bunch of memes that were created from the article. Laughing at everybody. I thought voting for Trudeau's advisor was a good idea. Yeah, I know exactly.
Oh, that's a good comment for sure.
Well, they made a meme out of that one.
That's great.
I got some House of Commons. And then what time is it? How long do you want to go? 20 more minutes?
No, go as long as you want, man.
All right.
Don't forget to check out the Discord after. We're gonna go hang out in the Discord. I don't know if you're gonna hang out in the Discord, Mark, but I'll go say hey to everybody in the Discord afterwards.
I'm up at 4 tomorrow.
If you're in the chat on my page, some of the moderators will pop the link in for the Discord in there.
Okay, I got this here. This clip from the House of Commons today. Check this out.
Thank you.
Murray Code Lake.
Child poverty in Canada has risen for the third consecutive year. In 2025, nearly 30,000 more children fell below the poverty line, according to the latest Child and Family Poverty Report Card. The progress our country once made is not just slowing, we're going backwards. Behind every statistic is a child going without, a family stretched beyond its limits, and parents forced to make impossible choices. When will the Liberal government reverse the rise in child poverty, reduce the cost of living, and strengthen our economy so Canadians can afford basic necessities?
Well, based on the article today, it's 400 years before we erase child poverty. But
well, you know what we gotta say? We gotta say those children need to pick themselves up by their bootstraps and get themselves out of poverty. No, like what the heck? Why are we measuring child poverty? It's poverty generally. Like, why do you have to put child before it? It feels so manipulative when you say stuff like that. It's just poverty, period.
So the thing that they're showing is that there's more children in poverty than it's actually there's more children in Canada in poverty levels, and that's the big problem. It's
So,
the
but
kids.
okay. So extrapolate that. We have more immigrants in Canada than we've ever had. We have the lowest birth rate that we've ever had in Canadian history. So who's bringing the children to the country? The Liberals are. The Liberals who opened up immigration are bringing children in who are impoverished, who have no skill. The parents have no skills, and they're just bringing children over. I mean, just based on simple arithmetic and deduction, you can deduce the fact that it's foreigner kids that are poor in the country.
Well, Canadians aren't even having kids anymore. They came out
That's what
with
I'm
something
saying.
today that showed that we're well below 1. It's like 0 point something. It's like
The
people
birth
are
rate
not
is
having
terrible. Like Canadian born citizens are just not having kids.
kids.
Period.
No. Check out the Liberal response here.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Well, Mr. Speaker, that same report mentions how our government's investments in the Canada Child Benefit in dental care and child care are
Dental
helping
care.
families.
Hey, they'll have nice
lower
teeth
their
when they
cost of
can't
living.
eat anything.
This is, Mr. Speaker, I welcome the Conservatives in this question because it gives me an opportunity to talk about the supports that we have in place to help all children. One child in poverty is too many, but that's why we have Mr. Speaker, if I may. Mr. Speaker, that's why we have a Canada Child Benefit that is tax-free. A majority of the recipients of that are lone parent families. 90% are single moms. Those are the kind of supports that this government is putting in place and enhancing while those Conservatives continue.
Wouldn't it be nice if we lived in a country that we didn't need any supports?
Yeah, it's it's called not having a nanny state. If you didn't have a nanny state, then nobody would vie for the powers in the nanny state, and then people would only come here if they know that they can make it, and the naturally born people would know that they have to make it, and they've got no other choice. People would work harder.
It's so frustrating that they celebrate programs like we're giving kids food, like but why are we giving kids food? Why do we need to do all these programs to get kids food? Like it's so absurd. It's so frustrating because we know why. It's because they've destroyed everything. We need
well,
right.
the best way to look at it is when was the most growth in Canada, like economically and people wise? When was the best growth? When was the best growth in other countries around the world? What facilitated it? And if you look and you do the research, it wasn't during nanny state times. It was always during the time of where they had the utmost amount of liberty. You know, especially in the West. In the West, when people had more liberty and they had more uncertainty as well. If they had more uncertainty and more liberty, they had more kids. It was just this is my retirement savings plan. I'm having 14 babies. They'll take care of me when I'm old. And
life was way better in the 70s, 80s, 90s. It was way better. You'd have one income. You'd be able to have multiple cars, multiple vacations. You'd have a detached house. You'd get a beautiful pension. I mean, today you have 3 jobs. You probably work until you're 6 feet underground. It's not the same Canada as we grew up in. That's for sure.
No, it's absolutely not.
So I saw this thing today that I wanted to share with everybody. So Polling Canada came out with this article thing here. It says, Alberta, if the proposed pipeline agreement between Danielle Smith and Marc Carney were to fall apart, a referendum would be held on Alberta on if Alberta should become an independent country. How would you vote? 63% says remain and 37% says independence. This is their new poll. So I was like, oh, really? So I immediately saw this and I posted right away, this is fake. There was a poll done last year which showed if Quebec blocked Alberta's pipeline, just Quebec, not even Ottawa, if Quebec blocked Alberta's pipeline to the north coast, 85% would vote independence. I'll have this poll here.
Oh, yeah. I remember looking at this poll.
Yeah. So it says right here, and this was last year. Now we see floor crosser for Matt Genereux. People are pissed about this.
I love how they split up the support and then they only talk about one column.
Yeah. So it says more likely to want to leave. 85% lean towards that. And that's if Quebec makes it clear that they will block any pipeline construction through that province. So that's just through that province. Think about them blocking to BC coast. This is 85% going to Quebec. We're talking about BC coast. It could be 100% here. Look at this poll. So I don't believe the poll that they're coming out with that they said.
Oh, and here's the statistic that a lot of people are not talking about right now is that Quebec is vying to leave while all of this is going on.
Well, we saw what happened in the separatists won like yesterday or whatever.
But they're secretly, they're quietly setting up their own referendum. It looks like they might leave. I think what's happening is they're trying to leave before Alberta can, because they don't want to be the first. They don't want Alberta to be the first to leave. That would be embarrassing for the Quebec
really
separatists
don't understand
that have had a
Quebec.
movement for decades.
Quebec's got like a good deal out of like, if you compare Quebec to Alberta, they have the best deal. So for them to like want to exit, to me, it's I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Because if Alberta leaves, the sweet deal that they got goes away very quickly, and they become a have province. and then they have to start paying out, especially with Ontario being severely impoverished right now because their industry is leaving. Quebec would end up having to pay Ontario with transfer payments. They want out of here before Alberta leaves and leaves it to that. That would be terrible.
I want to show everybody this. 1 second. Let me share. I don't know if you saw this today. Kirk Lubanoff today published on his X account. Food
Kirk's
inflation.
great. I love Kirk. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's
Kurt's
fantastic.
awesome. He always has good data, and he's grounded by data. So that's something that I appreciate. So food inflation forecast projected 1 year change 2026. So if you take a look, I don't know if you could see it on your screen, but
yeah, I can see it.
Canada, if you look at this, Canada is at the same is with third world countries. That's only place you could compare. So we're talking about Iran, 55%. It's significantly higher, but they're in the red here. And then we have Angola. We're talking about third world countries, Argentina, and Eastern Europe, and we know why. But Canada's
So North Africa is in the green. That's interesting.
North Africa's price 18% reduction. Like they're in the green. US is 2.7%, which is even like half of what we have.
I'm interested. I'd like to know the story behind that, because we know how inflation is measured, and it's like it's recent inflation. It's
look at the two largest populations on the planet. China and India have by far the most population. Both of them are at zero.
But Argentina is like well in the red.
Argentina's well in the red, but look at China and India. Zero
inflation.
Zero inflation on food.
I think that's BS, to be honest. So China, the renminbi gets manipulated tons all over the place, and their statistics are very unreliable, what you get out of China. So to get decent info on how things are going over there is something else. And then you get like the tofu dreg stuff. Like the kind of quality food that they get is pretty out to lunch.
So I liked Kirk's graphic here as well. He showed, this is what the situation is like. I like how he put it in color and in red.
Real GDP per capita. Is that real GDP per capita or is just GDP?
No, it's real GDP performance. Canada is the worst in the G7.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate what's happening with Japan.
Contraction.
So Japan's pretty low on that one, and it largely has to do with them having a really bad fiscal policy. They put out a lot of liquidity every year. They have been doing this since the 90s to keep certain industries afloat, and also to help prop up the US dollar, to be honest. It's not great for Japan, but it's because of how hardworking and how dedicated Japanese people are that they managed to make it work. It's unreal.
So I watched this live, Clyde. Do you want to know why your food is just way too?
Is that Adam Geno guy? Is that him?
No. This is Adam Van Coverton or whatever.
Oh, nice pink tie though, by the way.
This guy is going to explain to you, everybody in the audience here, he's going to explain to you why your food is just way too expensive. Let's check it out.
Okay, we'll find out.
Canadians are sick and tired of these alternative conservative facts from the opposition, Mr. Speaker. We all know that food costs too much, but instead of exploiting the challenges that are facing Canadians right now, the Conservatives should do a little bit of reading and look into why food costs too much, Mr. Speaker. All the research indicates that 85% of the food inflation is due to imported factors like war and tariffs and extreme weather due to climate change, something that Conservatives
it's climate change. There it is.
Mr. Speaker. Look, the groceries and essentials benefit will help 12.6 million Canadians. Why won't the Conservatives get on board and help a Canadian for a change?
Help a Canadian for a change. That's rich.
We
And
got to
the thing
end
is
climate change. That'll make food cheaper, wouldn't it?
the conservatives approved their thing, so they approved it right away. Their grocery whatever. They said it's a temporary fix. We're going to approve it. We're not going to go against it, but we need to do real change. But yeah, can you believe it? The reason that you can't afford food is because
85% of the food inflation is due to imported factors like war and tariffs and extreme weather due to climate change. Something that
Climate change.
Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me?
All of it is due to climate change. The war due to climate change.
I showed you that, like, for example, I tweeted I posted this and I said, food inflation in Canada is 7.3%. Food inflation in the United States is 2.9%. Do they not have any weather down in the US?
Yeah, they're not experiencing climate change like Canada.
It's only in Canada. And guess what? We pay carbon taxes, yet we have the most extreme weather events. Like,
they don't experience climate change down there quite like we do in Canada. I always joke, like, why is there no climate change in China? It's because they already have a communist government. That's the end goal, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Did you see what happened today in the BC Parliament?
No.
That was a good one too. We could first see David Eby. We'll see David Eby, and then we're going to take a look at Tamara Armstrong.
Let me grab another beer, and then we'll do that.
Okay. All right. I'm going to set this up so that we're ready to go here. I'm sure, I don't know if you guys saw it, but this is we're going to take a look at this. And then we'll also take a look at the other clip. They're short clips, but definitely we got to take a look at this. I'm already going to start playing it so that while we're waiting, he could jump in when he comes back here.
It has been a long time in this House since people's basic human rights to not be discriminated against in applying for a job or getting a home or accessing services were put up for debate. Now, the member who advanced her private member's bill said that private member's bill was about repealing the Human Rights Code. There's not a member in this place that doesn't understand what that means. The Human Rights Code protects people on the basis of race, protects women from discrimination, protects people with disabilities to be able to access services.
What
members,
does?
Members, Premier has the floor.
What's stopping people with disabilities from getting access to
consensus
something?
among political parties in this place for generations. So to see the Conservatives stand up,
You have to explain that
and vote
bit
to
for me.
debate
Yeah,
whether
I'll
or not
explain it.
immigrants, people who are Asian, South Asian,
Members, the chair,
What a joke.
It's a clown show in BC.
Thank you. I know that. Thank you. Premier.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened is David Eby's trying to say that. So basically, they have this, the ideology, the gender ideology, the whole thing. It's the Marxist ideology where, try to divide people into different groups. And then it's
useful idiots of the
it's ridiculous.
Color Revolution is what it is.
So Tara Armstrong today, this is from David Eby had his little meltdown because of this right here. So I'm going to show you what occurred.
Oh, okay. This is what caused it.
Yeah. So you saw the aftermath of what
I wasn't sure what he meant, but like people can't get up wheelchair ramps or something like that.
Yeah. So check this out. And this, I'll tell you, the political left in this country is losing it over this. What I'm going to just show you, including Rachel Gilmore and the whole, they're all just losing their minds over this. So let's check it out.
Mr. Speaker, the purpose of this bill is to end the assault on freedom of speech
by our Human Rights Tribunal. Last week, they fined Barry Neufeld $750,000 for refusing to believe that a man could become a woman for his own personal opinions.
Literally
This
about
bill
his
will
thoughts.
protect
It's thought
ordinary
crime.
people with common beliefs from politically motivated financial attacks. The Human Rights Code Repeal Act is the only solution to this assault on our rights. This
By
bill
the way,
will
just pause it
protect
real
the
quick.
freedom
Just pause
of
it real quick.
speech of Canadians.
So this and statutes like this were the reason why people like Thomas Paine and Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson and George Washington worked so hard in the Americas to go away from what King George was doing. There's a lot of statutes that were using technicalities and going outside the normal courts and using different kangaroo courts to go after people that they didn't like. And that this is the reason why the First Amendment was the First Amendment, is because it's the very most important thing, is that you have the freedom of speech, the freedom of your conscience, the freedom of expression to be able to say and believe what it is that you want. And the Second Amendment was there to protect the First Amendment. So that's very important to know.
So we got a super here. Robo Autopsy. Yeah, it says you should bring up to speed on this $9 trillion in refinancing of debt the U.S. had last summer and the U.S. bonds being sold in 2025. That's something that I could do on my show. I do like the data sets and looking at the data and potential consequences. I don't know if something that specifically that you've seen we could bring onto the show, but
I haven't specifically seen that, but I can look into researching that for sure.
All right. Perfect. Okay, ready?
Thank you so much, by the way. Yeah, keep going.
It will abolish the Human Rights Tribunal, a kangaroo court, and
It is a
repeal
kangaroo court.
the Human Rights Code that the left is using to punish and profit from anyone who doesn't adopt their views.
Oh, so this is
The
why
bill
he
will
lost his
terminate the
mind.
position of a human rights commissioner who makes over $300,000 a year to police speech, Mr. Speaker. And it will invalidate any outstanding orders made by the tribunal against Canadians like Mr. Neufeld. Mr. Speaker, freedom of speech is the cornerstone of our democracy. The judgment last week was a wake-up call, and Canadians are demanding their freedoms back. To the members in this House, this is our chance to answer their call, and therefore I urge you to vote in favor of this bill. Thank you.
All right. So the information,
And that's why he said like handicapped people can't get up handicapped inclines and can't get in the door if we don't have these tribunals. Is that why you're saying
yeah,
that?
exactly.
What an
it's
idiot.
yeah, I know. It's out of control. But and listen to this. The conservatives, because Tara and she's not part of the they're I don't know who she's part of. I think she's just independent.
She's just independent, kind of like Dallas Brody.
Dallas Brody took the 1BC.
Okay, so she was independent.
They broke
Now she's
apart. So,
1BC.
but I think she's independent. So, and anyway, the conservatives actually voted in favor of this, which is common sense. I mean, they voted in favor. So it was a final vote, I believe, was 50 to 37. So it didn't. All of NDP voted. But the conservatives voted for this, and that's the big outrage across the political left across Canada. Is like, how dare the conservatives are lost their
How do they
minds.
want free speech? How could they want free speech? How could you have your own conscience? And like, honestly, look at the ruling that went to this former school board member. And it really, it went down to the point where they said that, what was the quote? It was, if you believe, what is it? If somebody believes in Christianity, we all understand that they believe in Christianity, and therefore, if you should believe in transgenderism, it's like that analogy didn't even work. So if you believe in Christianity, everyone should respect the fact that you believe in that. Well, everyone should respect the fact that you believe in your transgender stuff. That doesn't mean I have to. What the ruling was is that you were forcing somebody to have to believe that.
Yeah, it's wrong.
It's totally wrong. And I would rule. So I would equally say that it's wrong if it was the other way around. If they were saying that you don't believe in Jesus, we're gonna enforce a $750,000 fine on you because we don't think you sufficiently believe in Jesus. I think that's absolutely an abomination on the law. You should not be forced to believe anything. Period.
I like the federal conservatives are talking about this as well.
Oh, good.
It's not just BC, but BC is just like, obviously it's home base here, right? So it's nice that, conservatives are acting more conservative, because I know in the conservative movement, there's some liberals in there, right? But I think that they didn't get every single one, but 37, that's almost all of them.
So Jack put out a good tweet today, and maybe I can share this one with you. But Jack put this out here. Let me I
can find it.
Oh, I'll grab it. I got it right here at my disposal. This tweet here, and I'll share it with you on Twitter. So it's in the Twitter DMs right now. So Jack put out a tweet, and you pull it up. And it's about Pierre Poilievre commenting on this case. And I thought this was so fitting. If you've got that. Yeah, you've got it right there. So Jack said, so Pierre Poilievre says, this is insane. It's Orwellian. Governments and kangaroo courts are now, they now chill freedom of expression instead of fighting crime, censoring people who dare to speak their minds, yada, yada. Now, this is a little out of the norm. Like I didn't even actually expect Pierre to comment on this. I'm not going to lie, because for years, when a social issue would come up like this, it would take tons and tons of social pressure for Pierre before Pierre would ever pipe up about something like this. And even Jack, who's a good friend of mine, he tweeted out saying, well, knock me down with a feather. He actually commented on it. Yes, Pierre, things in Canada are far worse than Axe the Tax and Orange Man Bad. People are being sued into bankruptcy for acknowledging basic biology. There are quite a few cases like this. Perhaps comment on them more. We'd love to see that. So
yeah, it'd be nice if he commented more. He did. Remember when the CBC pushed him saying, oh, how many genders are there, Pierre? And then he's like, I only know of 2. Unless you could explain to me the more. He's like, oh no, that's your question, not mine. Like they try to pin him, and
I'd love to see more of that. I'd love to see more of that.
I mean, there was. That's what I'm trying to say.
But he doesn't initiate it, and this is the problem I think that people have. It's like conservatism in Canada is too passive. It's too, well, I wait until you corner me with it, and then I'll finally come clean that I'm conservative. Why not just come straight out with it? This is my platform. I think there are 2 genders. I think there are 2 sexes. I'm tired of talking about genders because there's actually 4 genders. You know that, right?
No.
Yeah. So the English language, genders it's a grammatical construct. It's not a social construct. There's indeterminate, neuter, masculine, feminine. Those are the genders in the English language. Neuter means that it doesn't have a gender, like a table or a chair. Indeterminate means you're talking about a child or a dog instead of a boy or a little boy dog. I don't know what are the gendered words for that, but like those are genders. There are 2 sexes. There's nothing more binary in nature. Like there's spectrums for all kinds of things like light and sound and all these things, but there's nothing in science that is more binary than sexes in biology. It's very apparent. And I wish people would just be a little more sensible about the conversation.
So we just it only occurred 2 hours ago. Bill Clinton posted a statement about his deposition today. Do you want to see that? I haven't seen it. So
I know that something came out a few hours ago that Bill Clinton did say that Donald Trump has never been associated with Epstein. Wow, Bill's not looking good, man. Whoa. Wow.
Well, he's not young anymore, man.
Well, I guess, but
so this is his official statement. He published.
That's one too many blue dresses. I mean,
I haven't seen it. We've been on the live for over 3 hours. So he published this 2 hours ago. So I haven't seen.
He published this. Wow, that means that some bad stuff came out, and he's trying to run. He's trying to run optics.
We're gonna watch this. I haven't seen it yet, so we're gonna watch it and then we'll react to it. We'll see. We'll see what he says.
I just finished testifying in front of the House Oversight Committee. I did it for 2 reasons. First, I love my country, including our Constitution. And America was built on the idea that no person is above the law, even presidents, especially presidents.
Oh.
And that we should all live under the same set of rules. This kind of democracy requires every person to play their part. And I hope that by being there today, we can bring ourselves just a little further away from the brink and back to being a country where we can disagree civilly and we can search for truth and justice, and that it outweighs the partisan urge to score points and create spectacle. The second reason I was there
knows all about spectacle.
is that the girls and women whose lives Jeffrey Epstein destroyed deserve not just justice, but healing. They've been waiting too long for both. Though my brief acquaintance with Epstein ended years before his crimes came to light, and though I never witnessed during our limited interactions any indication with what was truly going on, I offered the little I do know in the hopes that it would help prevent anything like this from ever happening again. I also have to say something personal.
I never had relations.
Republicans made Hillary testify yesterday.
Hillary.
And she had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Nothing.
Oh, okay.
Not like me.
Neither traveled with him nor visited any of his properties. So whether 10
pictures
people
come
or
out with her,
people were
with him?
subpoenaed,
Yeah, lots.
including her, was simply not right. So here's what I told the committee. First, I had no idea of the crimes Epstein was committing. No matter how many photos they show of me, I have 2 things that at the end of the day matter far more than any interpretation of 20-year-old photos. I know what I saw, and more importantly, what I didn't see. And I know what I did, and more importantly, what I didn't do. I saw nothing and I did nothing wrong. As someone who grew up in a home with domestic violence, not only would I not have flown on his plane if I had any inkling of what he was doing, I would have turned him in myself and led the call for justice for his crimes.
Like Donald
not
Trump
the
did.
sweetheart deal we got. But even with 20/20 hindsight, I saw nothing that ever gave me real pause. We're only here today because Epstein hid it from everyone so well for so long.
I thought it was
And
an
by the time
actual
it came
pig
to light
roast.
with his 2008 guilty plea, I had long stopped associating with him. When the video of my testimony today is released, I hope it will motivate everyone to go in front of Congress to say what they know. I hope it will motivate the Justice Department to finally release all the files and to ensure that this never happens again. The survivors deserve that.
That's it. You know, it's interesting. It all seems like they have the same story, though.
I did not have relations with that woman.
I mean, we don't.
Yeah, that turned out to be false. The blue dress, all of that stuff. Come on, man. Yeah,
I don't know.
Slick Willie.
The same story.
That's
They
right.
just all. It's the same story. You know, like
It's
I don't
always
know.
the same story.
What's
It's always
the
the same
chat
story.
saying about the bill?
People are talking about jerky in the chat. You know the reference to jerky, right?
No.
Oh man. Okay, that's a rabbit hole. So there's a lot of references to jerky in the emails, the Epstein emails, and a lot of people are speculating that it looks like jerky is a euphemism for human flesh. Like
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's probably why I'm not into like, I don't get into the details. I'm try not to get too many details.
That's why I said, it turned out to not be a real pig roast. Yeah, man, some weird stuff, man. When you get into top echelon people that think they're elitists and what they want to do.
Somebody just
My
posted
goodness.
this so that we can compare. See, this is what I was trying to say at the beginning of the show. You see, at the beginning of the show, I try to get the like side by side. Now we get to side by side. Somebody just posted.
You know what? Actually, you know what sells it for me, and it's not this image, but if you get another image of that same interview, when
what about this one?
Yeah, when he opens his mouth and you see his whole grill. So Jim Carrey has like this dental structure that looks straight across in the front. When you see the dental structure of this person that went up, it has like a half moon shape almost to the front teeth that just
Even
doesn't
his
match.
lips, like even the lips look different. Like look at that.
Yeah, I mean, unless he got his
fillers or
new
something.
dentures or something. Yeah,
Like
doesn't
his
look right.
His nose doesn't.
His nose
look the
isn't
same.
right.
I guess the eyebrows are the same. Are they the same?
Well, I mean, it could be droopier version of what it was, but yeah, it just didn't look right.
Oh, you know what oh yeah, we didn't even mention the one thing. He has brown eyes, and then his eyes are like blue or hazel.
Shut up.
Yeah. Look.
Oh, yeah. Jim Carrey's always had brown eyes.
Yeah, but they're not brown anymore.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah,
You
you
see?
can't unbrown your eyes, man.
Look, those are hazel eyes, man. They're like blue eyes. The hell's going on here?
And nobody's wearing contacts to make their eyes look like almost brown.
I don't know, man. I grew up loving Jim Carrey's stuff. He's just not looking well.
Yeah, it doesn't look like him. Doesn't look like him.
No.
Strange.
All right, Clyde, we did 3 hours and 10 minutes. How
Holy
you doing,
cow,
Chad?
we-
Yeah, I know. We crushed it. I had lots of stuff I mean, we could keep going, but I've lots
You
of
gotta
stuff
go
to
to
talk
bed.
about
You gotta
today.
go to
Yeah, I
bed.
got to go to bed.
It is what it is. I'll be jumping in the Discord afterwards if anybody wants to come chat. I have one of my moderators might put a link to the Discord in here. I'll bring that link over to, well, I'm not a moderator in yours, so maybe I'll just give that link to you. And if you want to post it in your chat, then you can post it in your chat. And just another alternative for people to hang out and chat.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for we held over 1,000 viewers almost the entire 3 hours. Absolutely amazing. Thank you for spending your Friday night with us. Hopefully you enjoyed something like this. And when was the last time we got
Ooh, not that
together
one.
for a live show like this?
It's been a while, man. Like, so I had you on ages ago, and we've just been meaning to get around to it ever since. Like, that's just been kind of what
It feels like it was almost a year ago.
It's at least a year, honestly.
Yeah. Well,
At
we
least
can't do that again. We're gonna have to cut. We're gonna have to. I had a lot of fun, so we're gonna have to get back on and do this again because it was a lot of fun.
Here's the link. You can put that in your chat. Just pop that in. If anybody wants to come hang out afterwards, we got a whole community of people that like to chit chat with each other and not just watching your creators, watching your favorite creators, but jump in and actually get a word in here, word in edgewise. So yeah, if you want to share that one out,
Yeah,
get that.
I'm gonna do it
out
right
for
now. Just
everybody.
copy. Just do it. So I'll send the chat for you guys.
And yeah, I just want to say it's a lot of fun hanging out on a Friday night. This is why I used to do this all the time, because I like having a chat with the community, really, at the end of the day. And you know what? For everybody out there, I am going to bring the Friday night live shows back. It's just not, I'm taking a hiatus on it. Get used to it, because it's not happening just yet. But when I'm down in Texas and we get settled in, we're going to have a community night live stream every week. That's going to be a thing. We're going to make that a thing.
Dude, I can't wait to visit you. We could do some content when I'll come visit you when you're there.
When I get down to Texas, just wait, because I'm going to set up a whole studio. We won't be doing like the talking on screens. We'll be talking in person and talking with the chat. That's how we'll be doing it.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to create some more content. Follow me on my Twitter X account, because I publish stuff all day. Follow Clyde, Do Something's YouTube channel. Follow him on X, and we will see you. I'll see you tomorrow.
See y'all tomorrow.